And live. Prestige World, live, live,
Prestige
live.
worldwide. Let's see. If I was your live video, where would I be?
Well,
Welcome everybody.
It's cracking.
Happy Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
I think it's Tuesday. It feels like just any day of the week.
I don't know what it feels like because every day seems like the same day. Groundhog's Day.
Bill Murray. Great movie. There's a live. Found it.
It's always Corona Day, it seems like.
Alright. Let me change this to live chat.
I feel like I'm sleeping in a lot more, but then I wake up like, oh dang, like I feel like I wasted a day, and then I'm like, wait a second, days don't exist. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't exist. Everything is just feels like one long day. And you wake up from a 8-hour, 12-hour nap, and you just keep going.
But I feel bad for the people that, because I have, I make music and I make enough money to be able to survive making music, online. But the people that are like doing 9-to-5s that are, they had to shut down their business or whatever it is. Like, think about them. Like, damn, that sucks.
Oh yeah, especially you think about costs like about $1,000 to rent someone's bedroom out, or a living room.
Hey, that's cheap
And that's cheap.
in LA.
So what happens when you have no more money coming in? And even if you get $450, because unemployment's $450, no matter what, you can be making $8,000. I mean, at least from what I work with some guys at the line crews, and they're only getting $450 on unemployment if they're not working. So what's
A month?
A week.
Oh, a week.
Still, it's less than $2,000.
Yeah.
Mark's in the chat. What up, Mark?
Mark, what's cracking, bro?
What happened to that fishing trip, man? Let's go fishing. Mark is an ace fisherman. Oh, we should ask Mark about the knife stuff and open carry and all that.
Oh yeah, we were wondering. He probably doesn't know about knives, but he knows about guns. And you found out about.
Apparently, it said, well, it used to be legal to open carry in California as long as the gun was unloaded, and then you had the ammo on the other side of your person. But then in 2012, of course, the California government changed that, so it's illegal. Period. Yeah. I don't know, Mark, do you have any tips or tricks to get around that?
Get it? Knife tips?
Any knife tips? Because we're trying to open carry knives, fixed blades.
There's some weird things about it. Like, it's really bad to conceal them, but I think that you can carry them.
Yeah.
As long as you can see it. I mean, you probably look insane and probably bring more problems, than not carrying one.
From what we understood from the video is that, like, for example, you have a spring that sits at a folding knife that if it can fold, it's fine for concealed carry. But if you leave it open, then now it's considered a dirk or a dagger, and it must be open carry,
Yeah.
visible.
So if he puts that in a sheath like that, he has to have it a visible.
Yeah, to
for
the whole
people to
public.
see.
You gotta have it your shirt tucked in. You can't have even a piece of it being hid.
There's all kind of weird regulations and stuff that kind of just make it confusing. Because even if you're right, a cop could be, a jerk or something, and take it from you, and then you have to, you might win, but you go to court and all that stuff. It's a big headache. So it just makes all these hurdles. It's like, man, I don't even want to deal with that. And I think they know that, and that's why they
It's such a
create
pain in the
these,
ass.
all these laws. So
If you're gonna get harassed for walking down the street, exercising your right, it kind of takes away the incentive. So I can see why people just say forget it.
But I mean, I have this app called Citizen, and it tells me about all the crime and, reported stuff in the area. And I guess it's mostly reported by citizens or the police. And people have the app, and then, if they see something happening, they start filming it and become their own reporter. But especially since this whole Corona thing, I've been seeing a lot of, like, robberies,
Assault with a deadly weapon.
assaults, like all kind of stuff. And I see these zombie apocalypse homeless people. Like, I live by the LA River, right? And we take walks over there because it's kind of nice and then it's kind of trashy because there's just trash everywhere. There's tents. But if that stuff wasn't there, it would be amazing. It would be nice to walk along the river. There's a bike path. But we were walking there, and there was this, like, just this row of tents. And these homeless people, they were like, and this guy, and he I won't say it on live, but he called us a name as we were walking by and was like trying to start something with us. And
But he just rides as fast as he
yeah,
can.
he was on his bike as he went by. But it's like, you never know. Like, somebody could come out of nowhere and try to rob you at gunpoint or a knife point or something. And if you have a knife, or so it's like they don't want you to protect yourselves.
Yeah, they want you to be out there unarmed and scared.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
And there's a stigma is that if you have a knife or anything to protect yourself, it's like why would you want to do that?
Yeah, you're looking for trouble.
Yeah, you're looking for trouble, and that's bull, man. We should have the right to defend ourselves, at least.
Tex-Mex is in a chat. Mark says no open carry in California, and Tex-Mex always carries a K-bar when walking around. That's that.
Is that like a chocolate bar?
Yeah, no, that
I know, I'm kidding.
kind bar. That that marine knife I showed you. The
Yeah,
big,
no, I
big
know.
one. Yeah.
That's that like the rounded.
A Rambo knife. I think it's a Rambo knife. She always carries that around, but wishes I had the gun. I wish I had a gun
Well,
too.
that's a girl.
Yeah, yeah.
She carries a K-bar.
She carries a K-bar.
That's pretty sweet.
That's pretty hot. Mark says in California, folded pocket knives are legal, but it is illegal for any person to carry concealed any knife legally. Described as dirk or dagger, the legal terms for any fixed blade. Yeah, any fixed blade or open blade is a dirk or dagger. So
my question is,
public.
if say this knife, right? I bought this knife, and if I had this visible, I'd probably look insane, like a cowboy. But that's the only way you could do it. If I had this on a belt or something, and it was visible, you could legally carry this. Probably depend on the policy of whatever place you went to. Like a store could say, "Oh, you can't come in here. We don't allow that." But
Yeah.
I know at least walking on the street or somewhere like that, is that legal?
It should be. I mean, it technically is, but you probably will get harassed, and they'll give you a hard time. But we have to get used to that. Like we went to the Home Depot today and other days this week, and I'll wear the mask to get in past the door. I got my little American bandana scarf, but as soon as I get past that guy, I take my mask off. Every time. I'm not gonna keep wearing that crap.
I don't understand. Yeah. But yeah, you just went off into a whole nother land.
Yeah.
But
Oh, Lin Yen Chin. Merry Christmas, Trevor Wesley sent you $10 super chat.
Oh, thank you.
Lin
I
Yan.
appreciate that.
This song is for you.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Thank you for the Christmas present.
Text message says, I was told by a retired cop to also carry wasp spray. Speaking of wasp spray, my foreman, he's a lineman out of Indiana. He told me he has a gun every 20 feet in his house.
Yeah.
So from anywhere in his house, he can get to a gun in 20 feet or less. And then every 10 feet, he's got wasp spray. So if him or his wife, someone breaks in, they can run to the wasp spray quicker than the gun. Buy time if they have to, spray it because it shoots out like a nice stream. And then you can run 10 more feet and grab a gun.
What's the line between paranoia and being prepared?
To me, that's ready. There's no such thing as being paranoid would be that if you're fearful while you're being prepped, if you're scared of it happening.
So you don't think there's any over the top,
Nah, I think I want to be like that guy from Tremors, he's all end of the world prepper, got bullets everywhere. Like that's what I would love, like a whole 2-bedroom apartment full of guns and ammo. That would be my dream.
Because it's like locked doors, You got the people that are like, oh no, I don't need to lock my doors, and then there's the people that are always locking their doors, and the people that always lock their door, or the people that don't lock their doors don't get broken into, but then the ones that lock their doors, all of a sudden.
Yeah, you're weird if you over prepare, but there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're not scared while you do it. I think it's fine. You should always be ready. You should have extra water.
Someone might say you're scared, and that's why you do it.
They will let them. and look at who's scared now. Everybody walking around with these masks. They'll cross the street to avoid you. Everyone's so scared of being friendly again. It's weird. It's like
it is funny, but like I said this before. It's like when two people have dreadlocks and they see each other, they're like, "Hey man, what's up, bro? I see you." That's how I am when I see people without masks.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh hey, I see you."
Yeah, I like seeing people without masks. It's like that's right. Forget this nonsense.
And the people that the mask wearers who are advocating, they're like, everybody needs to just listen and wear the masks and stop going out and social distance. They're saying that the people who are wanting to go to Venice Beach and skate at the skate parks and stuff, that the reason why this virus is supposedly growing is because of those people.
Because of people like us who refuse to wear masks and stay home.
Yeah.
And go broke.
But see, they get you because they say, oh, you could have it and not know it, and you're carrying it. So basically they're saying, we could have coronavirus, even though we're perfectly fine, and we're the reason why other people are dying. Like, it's just weird. It doesn't make sense.
And there was just an article that came out. Stanford University did a study, and it showed that they've been lying, big surprise, about the infection estimates for infections in people. So they said it was really fatal, right? That this kills people really fast, because they were saying it only so far it only infected this many, say 10 people as an example, and it was killing 3 out of 10, which is 30% fatality rate. What they realized was that way more people have had coronavirus, and even if you keep the deaths the same, the survival rate is huge. It's like a 0.1 to 0.3% chance of death, and the flu has a 0.1% chance of death already. So it is, like we've been saying this whole time, nothing more than a flu, a Chinese flu. That's it. But watch, they're not going to see that on the news. They're not going to want to tell you that. Let's see. I saw a lady jogging alone down the street with a mask on. Yeah, we see people driving in their cars by themselves,
Yeah.
windows up, with the mask on.
You think the strippers are wearing nothing but just a mask?
Yeah, we saw these girls today at Home Depot. It's like the skimpiest outfits, but they're wearing a little mask. It's like, I don't know. It's just like, I'm scared of this virus, but look at me.
Well, hey, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell her to cover up. By all means,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Symmetry is beautiful.
It's selective.
But it's funny how people can be so scared, but they're still trying to live a normal life. Like, so they're not really scared. They're just conforming. They're following
You
the herd.
can't catch a virus showing your body.
You can't. So women, you can't catch a virus showing your body.
But I honestly don't believe that you can catch a virus not wearing a mask. Like,
I don't think you can catch it from the air the way they say.
I get the social distancing thing. I keep away from people just in case they cough or sneeze. Because your eyes are exposed. Like, I heard from the very beginning that this virus goes in, you can catch it from your eyes, the eye mucuses. So if someone sneezes or coughs or, a little follicle or whatever it is gets in your eyes, the mask is worthless. So
And viruses don't survive outside. Good point, Tex-Mex. It's all nonsense. Germ theory and viral theory, it's not so set in stone. And it doesn't just live in the air and then seek you out. They make it seem like it's that movie with Mark Wahlberg, The Happening, where people just smell something all of a sudden and you've got it. It's nuts.
yeah.
What do you think of Dion and the Belmonts?
Who
Total
dat?
tangent.
Who
That's
dat?
Dane. So he's
No,
talking about
who's
that.
Belmont and the...
Dion, what song do they sing, Dane? I forget. It's an oldie song, like a Motown era. Dion and the Belmonts. Didn't they do Under the Boardwalk or something?
I don't know names very well.
Mask doesn't protect you. It protects from others. It protects others from you. Lin Chen with another super chat. Thank you for the super
Oh,
chat,
man, I
man.
appreciate that. That's very thoughtful of you, Lynn.
All that super chat does help because we'd like to God willing, see this grow and get more equipment and little things so you can
Yeah.
hear us better, have more guests,
Just keep it going,
just have more fun. It's nice to have this fellowship and just kind of talk.
I guess, if that's what you call it. It's really more
Yeah.
just talking shit.
I wear an old pair of boxers so I can still drink from a straw through the hole. That's very smart, Eric.
I don't understand it. You drink from your boxers?
I think he puts it like a mask
Oh.
so he can still have a hole to drink through.
I think I saw a video of, say you wear a hoodie, right? You put the hoodie on, put it over your head. Take, those glass pan covers? You put it over your face, and the hoodie around it, you pull the strings, and then you got the pan on your face.
It's clear,
And
see-through.
then your eyes are covered, everything's taken care of, right? It'll probably fog up, but just spit on it and then rub it in like you do.
Like
the
with your goggles in the water.
Exactly.
Dane says that Dion and the Belmonts, their hit was The Wanderer. Oh, I'm a wanderer.
Oh.
I'm a wanderer.
Dane loves that vibe.
I go around and around. Tex-Mex was a nurse, she says. You need special equipment to protect yourself from others. Special pressure rooms. Yeah, exactly. I worked in a hospital for 3 years, and they have negative pressure rooms for like tuberculosis patients,
Why are you so negative?
where it sucks in the air, so that it basically keeps the negative pressure in the room, so the air from the outside only can go one way. If you open a door, it sucks in. That way, bugs and whatever's in there, TB, won't float out to the hallway. So if it was that serious, why aren't they putting these COVID patients in negative pressure rooms?
That's a good
Because
point.
it's a bunch of crap.
I think we went to Home Depot and, the small talking employees. Didn't she say something? Remind me what she said to you about some nurse that she talked to.
I complimented this Home Depot girl on her mask. It was very feminine, had flowers, it was cute. And then she brought up something about how this is all crazy. And I said, yeah, it's a bunch of nonsense. They just had a Stanford study showing that, it's no more dangerous than the flu. And she says, that's funny. A nurse just came in here yesterday buying some stuff, telling her that at her hospital they are being told and instructed to classify people as COVID deaths if they've tested positive, or maybe, I don't know how, but if you die of a heart attack but you tested
I
positive
thought
for
she
corona,
said it easy though. She says that they're trying to
pump the numbers up.
she said that she
You gotta
said
pump those numbers. Those are rookie numbers.
any chance you can label it as a COVID-19 to do that. Ordered.
Yeah, I know people who work at the hospital and they're not panicking. They work over in Glendale. Not a big deal. Nothing's changed with the routine. If anything, it's a lot calmer because he's had less patients. Because people are scared to go to the hospitals.
But I'm getting sick of it.
Sick of
I'm
it.
getting sick of talking about
I'm
it.
sick and tired of being sick and tired.
I'm sick of hearing about it. And here we are talking about it, controlling our lives.
Dane says the light color needs a change up. I think you got to stop being mama.
Maybe he.
But take into consideration. Maybe we will change the lights.
Well, after all, we do have millions and millions of colors. So the product says. Brought to you by LifeX Light Bulbs.
Virus hype is all about control. I agree. Lin Yen Chin. Depends on the surface, temperature, humidity, and UV levels. Survival varies. If viruses are real. So it sounds like Lin Chen thinks that there's some chance that viruses may not be real. We saw a video about that.
I did.
That there may be no such thing as a virus in terms of how we understand it.
Well, the thing is that I find it funny how any chance the left can get, they're, using this epidemic as a chance to pounce on the opponent, and
Political football.
yeah, it's like they're using any chance they can to strong arm and use it for their agendas in whichever way they can.
Sounds like my ex-girlfriend.
But it's weird, man. It's weird.
It is very, very weird. Let's see, I think I might have missed one. I be texting shit, Trevor Wesley. Says Lin Chen.
Keep that texting. Just as long as you text from 6 feet away.
Corona drama is of mama. Sorry that my Canadian money be weak. Don't worry about it, man. We appreciate the super chats, Lynn.
Yeah. What was it, Canadian Super Chats?
Well, it comes through in dollars.
Oh, that's sweet.
But hey, it's alright. It's not
Yeah.
your fault you're from Canada.
All cents and all dollars matter.
Yeah. As long as it makes sense. Because all cents make dollars.
Yeah, I'll be grateful for 2 cents.
Interesting. Tex-Mex says viruses aren't alive at all. They are basically chemicals and changes in the environment, and the environment can break them down. That's what I heard, that it's a response. Your cell's body releases things that they've called viruses in a response to something.
So isn't that kind of like receptors? Like almost as if you smoke weed, your body's response is to release dopamine and you get high.
Exactly. So maybe when something's wrong with your body and it feels like it's not 100%, or there's some kind of clogged up machinery, it releases something that they've called a virus. But maybe it's just a sign of something else going wrong with your body.
With your body. But you know what is nice these days is I like to be objective and sit back and not conclude and think I know. Because I know a lot of people, they hear stuff. And if you hear a lot of stuff, then you start walking around pumping your chest out like you know a bunch of stuff and be like, well.
And you get mad at people when they counter you.
Yeah, and for me, like I like to hear all perspectives, and of course I have this gut feeling and intuitive thing that kind of like, well, I don't believe it. But it doesn't mean that I believe the opposite either. I don't know. It's just interesting.
Yeah. We should be able to listen to everything, no matter how kooky it is. I'll talk about any subject. It shouldn't matter. And if you got feelings about it, you get butthurt when someone brings up a topic and you don't agree with it.
That's like a
you got
virus.
problems.
That's
Yeah.
a virus right there. If someone says something, it triggers you, then all of a sudden you feel something. Doesn't that sound like what a virus does?
That's more like a virus than this corona nonsense.
Someone walks by, it triggers you, and then you have
Yeah.
coronavirus.
And some of the people who would tell you they're the most enlightened and knowledgeable or spiritual are the most judgmental. They'll lose their mind if you say the wrong thing. It's not cool. Dane, I remember from Bio 1 in college that viruses weren't alive. Stuck with me. Yeah, Dane, because Dane says, y'all thinking too hard on this. I don't know, Dane. Maybe you're not thinking hard enough. Just saying. If you want to hear something interesting, it says Article 4, Section 4. Check out William Cooper's Hour of the Time radio show. Yeah, Bill Cooper. He was ahead of his time. They say he was assassinated. But he was a conspiracy theorist, as they would say. But he talked about a lot of stuff. I think he wrote Behold the Pale Horse. China had a low percentage of robots per capita. Korea and Japan are more pro-robot, says Lin Yan Chen. I didn't say that it was Tex-Mex. Adam and Dane is getting into the chat with Tex-Mex. What's up, Yale? Oh, this Yale, Navy Yale, Yale Max, Yale Min, Emperor Yale. Adam and Dane, sorry, just getting caught up in thoughts. Hey, Yale, what do you think about this Corona nonsense, man? I know you're pretty calm, and you don't lose your mind. You said Utah's been pretty base. You said Utah's not acting as nuts, but we are. Let's see. The solution is always giant robots. Thank you for the soothing music, says Lin Yan. I feel like that radio station, Coast 103.5, Los Angeles. Tonight on Rose and Cones. Adriana's in the chat. BS Fear. Yeah, Yale, it's all BS Fear, man. It's just interesting seeing how people can believe this, and then, I don't know, do you think that after this is all done, Trevor, that people are going to all of a sudden go back to the way they were? Or do you think that we're going to have to live with people acting awkward around
Well,
others?
seeing is how people hold on and never let go. And seeing is how people present. I think you know. Things will never be the same. Never again. Things will never be the same. Never again. Yeah, I don't think so.
You got some comments here. It should be called the Wuhan virus, says Yale.
I thought that's what it was called.
They call it COVID-19, but yeah, I mean that's what Trump called it. I think it should be called. I call it the Ching Chong flu.
You could call whatever you like. Yeah, as long as people know what you're saying, that's all that matters.
You should have fun with it, you know. Here's a question from Benjamin Mitchell. Thoughts? What are your thoughts on Biden's sexual harassment allegations?
I mean, is this old news?
Yeah, it's not old news.
I mean, is this something recent happened?
No, just the usual that he's
The,
a
the
perv, sniffer,
Sniffy Robbins?
habitual line stepper.
I really find it comical. It's like a weird bittersweet thing. It's comical because it's like, what the hell? Are they serious that this guy's like, they're going to take him serious? But then it's sad because it's like, this guy has dementia, you know, like his family.
They don't love him at all.
They don't love him. They're just using him. Didn't he say that he wanted to appoint Michelle Obama?
He was just on record with, I forget, maybe the Washington Post, which is Bezos' paper, said something about like he would take Michelle Obama in a heartbeat. Which I knew it, because there's nobody, he needs somebody that's going to give him clout and associate him with Obama, which is, you know, the left's only savior, but he can't run for office again. So what's the next best thing? You get Big Mama Mike.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like, I notice with the left, they are constantly, almost seems desperate, because they're always using celebrities, big, you know, public figures, to, like, to me, it looks like they're just using them to, you know, influence the young people that don't really know, and they, you know, the people that just hear stuff. And because they're associated with somebody famous and has this kind of cool vibe because they're a musician or an artist or an actor, that people will be like, I'm with that person because
It's all status.
yeah, it's
all
all
status.
and bullshit.
You know, social climbing. Here's
Yeah.
a compliment from Kristen Jr. says, "This piano is so much better than Owen Benjamin's skills. I watch him all the time, so it's
Oh,
nice
what?
to hear something
I
different."
appreciate it. Thank you. I
Yeah.
mean,
Owen's cool, you know, but I have to agree, Trevor can smoke Owen on the piano. Just saying.
I gave up smoking.
Just saying. Thanks, Trevor, says Kristen. Adam and Dane, y'all logging on the call-in thing. Well, give us a super chat, Dane, so we can start getting this software up to date. Get some mics. Is there a chance that Corona is way worse than being reported, and is a massive cover-up? What do you think?
It is worse or isn't worse?
Do you think it's worse than being reported? That the opposite, it actually is worse, and they're covering it up?
I mean, I can't say, but I still have yet to meet somebody that I know that says, "Oh my God, so and so has coronavirus." You know, I've heard that a friend of a friend has it,
Yeah, it's always.
but
a
I
friend
don't
of a
I don't
friend.
know him personally, and I don't know. So, I mean,
I don't think it's way worse. Personally.
yeah, I would lean towards no, but then again, it's like I don't really know. You know.
If it was that crazy, you would just see people out in the streets. There would be lines at the hospitals, like ambulances running up and down the street. And it's not. It's just not
It's
that crazy.
conflicting because at one, you know, you hear that the hospitals are overridden and they don't have time for anything, but then you go on
And then
TikTok.
they're dancing on TikTok.
Yeah,
you
and,
know,
and, you know,
the whole unit's dancing.
it's become like a trending thing. It's like, oh,
Get
if
out
you're-
of here with that.
Yeah, it's weird. But I don't know. What do I know?
Adriana says you should make a parody on Trevor's song "That Ass" though. It's called "In This World," but "That Ass" and change it to "That Hat." And a video of you wearing different hats. I think Yale like my Ching Chong Flu comment. Yeah, it should be the Ching Chong Flu or the, I don't know, Kung Flu is fine. Let's see. He adrenochrome fried in terms of Joe Biden. Yeah, if you guys haven't read into adrenochrome, you should really look into that. Look it up. Joe gave Hillary the longest hug ever, but I figure she needed it. Michael Obama, says Yale. Yes, if you haven't looked down that rabbit hole either, look into Michael LaVaughn Robinson.
I heard President Trump has this thing. If you go to donaldjtrump.com / and then type a bunch of stuff that
Nonsense.
means nothing, that like a 401 whatever
Error
page pops up and it says, "Oh, it seems as though you're looking for something that doesn't exist," and then it shows Hillary Clinton
In front of the
standing-
presidential podium.
Yeah.
Pretty based. Lin Chen, what a super chatter, bro. See another super chat from Lin Chen.
Oh, thank
Season
you.
of wooing for Wuhan is a season of loving.
I appreciate that, Lynn.
Yeah, I can't decipher that poem, but
I'd give
thank
you
Lin.
I'd give you a big Biden hug.
I'd smell you up and down like Joe Biden. Biden was accused
That's him.
of pushing a woman against the wall and touching her where he shouldn't.
What?
That sounds worse than Trump. And he was talking about loose women.
But I mean, technically, isn't touching her where she shouldn't, like anywhere? Can't someone say assault because you touched her, you went like this?
Yeah, touch you, period, if you don't want it.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Kristen says they're all Luciferians, eyes wide shut. You seen that movie, Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman?
It's true, man. We know what movie we watched because it's been a movie festivities since I turned this room over here into a little theater room and the coronavirus. But we watched that movie End of Days with Arnold. Everybody get down.
Arnold, come on, Melina.
Do it. And it was End of Days about, Satan.
Every 1,000 years, he gets to come back and he has to bang one girl who was chosen at birth to have his baby.
Yeah, and so it follows this baby being born, and then these people are raising this baby because they know that it's going to be Satan's picked chosen one. And it just makes you think. It's like these movies, they tell you these stories, and most stories in these movies, you'd be like, yeah, that's possible. Yeah, that's possible. But like any religious or anything like that, people will be like, oh, it's just make believe. Oh, it's, But who's to say that there aren't people like that would do that? Because there are Satanists out there, and I remember seeing like old footage on was it Oprah or something where people.
Oh yeah, she's interviewed Satanists, but she used to be a little more based back in the days with some of her content.
Well, people were saying that they grew up in houses where there was sacrifices with babies.
Right.
And all kinds
it's
of stuff.
legit.
Like, that stuff is real, man. And,
There are people who believe in the devil and believe in sacrifice,
Yeah.
and that's just their religion.
And
So
if
to
you-
them, it's not weird.
and if you don't believe in God or the devil, that's fine. But that doesn't change the fact that there are people who do, and they are doing rituals and sacrifices.
Exactly.
And stuff like
You may
that.
not believe it, but it doesn't matter because there are people who do.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
they think there's special power in blood, in murder, in violence. They get off on that stuff. Joel Friday's in the chat, and Big Bump.
What do you know?
Look, he finally made it. It's almost Joel's bedtime.
Bedtime. Bedtime.
Big Bump. Dane says, now y'all begging. Well, Dane, if you want this chat to grow, my friend, you're going to have to kick down a few nickels.
Nickel, please.
Nickel, please. My nickel. Mark says, no larger leap of faith than the multiverse theory. You ever heard of that? Where they believe, like, I think, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's multiple universes kind of like stacked up like layers. You ever seen that? Remember that show Sliders with the fat kid from Stand
Is
By
it
Me?
basically any and every possibility is a new universe?
Yeah, kind of
Where
like
it
that.
actually
There's
happened.
different versions that are kind of slightly different.
Like there's a different universe where I picked up this coffee and sipped it differently or whatever. Something.
Exactly. Yale says his old landlord in LA was satanic. He blended right in. You'd never know. Exactly, bro. They walk among us.
Be like this.
My old landlord in LA was satanic. He killed my cat and brought him back to life in the pet cemetery. T-Warrior 1, what's up, buddy? He gave me the nickname Beard Dude.
Beard dude. I remember
Beard
that.
Dude.
I remember
That's right.
that.
Respect the beard, T-Warrior. Respect
Yeah.
the beard. We all know Joel can't take a nap at work. Yeah, Joel fell asleep at work in the studio like this.
But he gets up early every day, and he's got a schedule, which I respect.
Yeah, he's a hard worker.
You know,
He does have dinner at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but he's a hard worker.
and if you really want to get him to like you, you know, get him a pastry. He really likes those. He's not really into, what is it? Berry pies and stuff like that?
He doesn't like pies?
I don't think so. I think he likes,
What a weirdo. What do you...
I don't know. He's like kind of just like a donut guy, you know? He likes donuts and...
Joel eats foods that I used to eat in high school. Hot dogs and hamburgers.
But he doesn't have a dad bod. You know what I'm saying? He's got,
Joel is...
he's working out,
He's
man.
ripped. He makes me look like
I mean,
a slob.
he ain't me, but
He's not a
you know,
beast.
he,
Gracie, what's up, Grace? In the chat. She's a nurse. She gets it. I think. I don't know. What do you think, Grace? You think this is all nonsense? This Corona stuff? Trevor knows me too well. Just says Joel. That's right, Joel. He got that high school palate. Smitty in the chat. And Epstein's ghost is paying us a visit. Earl worships Darth Sidious. This is a Star Wars guy. Let's see, what else? What did I miss? What did I miss? Oh yeah, Joel was doing the silent prayer in church. Joel! It's being overly done. Yeah, Grace, I agree. It's exaggerated. By a long shot.
yeah, no, I do notice, and I just said this, I noticed that they're using any chance they can to use this virus to their advantage.
Joel
for whatever it is.
Joel says he was praying over the machines.
And, yeah, at least he had a good answer, you know. Great answer, it's
He was
believable.
praying for the equipment to work better. You know?
That would have been the perfect comeback. Is what's his name? Who does the you know when the live streams fail or something? The one guy that sets it all up and he just sits back and makes sure it's all runs smoothly. And if there's a problem, they're like Jesse calls him. That guy. If he'd have said that he was praying for him.
What's up, Paul son? He says, how you doing? Question from Tex-Mex. Do you think they're going to keep this this virus going until the election? I think they
Well, now
are.
that they're having they're gearing up for the vote at home. That's the type of things I'm talking about that they keep trying to use. Is this virus for their agendas? Because they wanted to do the at home voting
Mail-in voting so that...
before this.
Exactly. They also don't want voter ID, which is weird because you need an ID to To go on a plane, you need an ID to pretty much to drive, to do all kinds of things you need an ID. But for voting, which is pretty important, determining the future of your country or your local government, they don't want you to have an ID.
But see, those are the types of things, like, because I was never into politics in the past. But it's almost like the End of Days movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? He didn't believe in God. And the reason why he ended up believing in God was because he believed in Satan. He saw all these signs, and everyone talking about Satan and stuff. No one was talking about God. And so because he believed in Satan, he realized, oh, God must be real, right? And that's what happened to me with this political stuff, is that I was, I never liked politics, was interested in it at all. But seeing, like, the obvious stuff that the left has been doing has, like, pushed me over to be like, hey, wait a second. You know,
like, here's a good way of saying it, that he didn't leave to the right. The left pushed him over.
Yeah, they pushed me, they shoved me.
They said, get out of here, and they kicked him out.
Exactly.
They act so nuts, and their beliefs are so out there, and they just get crazier and crazier.
I just like to follow the truth. I don't have a bias. Like, I don't, it's not about what I want. It's just about what I see. And I see things that's like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's obvious that they're, like, doing this vote from home thing. They wanted to do that because they don't have any of the majority
votes. They're not going to
votes.
win. If you want to win a fair fight, then, fight fair, but they're not trying to.
They have to go after the kids who don't know anything, which is why they're doing the whole celebrity thing. The endorsements with Lady Gaga.
All the blue check marks are going to come out of the woodwork.
All those people. So they want to get the young people that don't really know, but that just are able to be influenced. Then they have to get the illegals, because they're like the ones that are saying, "Oh yeah, we want to be in America. So if you vote for us, then we'll,
I vote for you."
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, who's not going to vote for free money?
Exactly, and there's so many little things like that that's just like it's obvious.
It's weird. Let's see. I guess they're talking about the multiverse in the chat. Skills Carmite says,
talk me about the multiverse, man. Tell me something crazy, bro.
He says the only people into the multiverse and simulation theory are rich people who don't believe in God and fantasize on what existence is. Homeless people do not believe in simulation theory. Well, they're homeless. They got to think about what's going on today.
Yeah. I mean, what do homeless people believe in?
I think they will definitely try to keep this going as long as possible. I agree. I mean, look, Cuomo just passed an executive order, what I read, I think New York Times or the Newsweek, to authorize at-home mail-in voting. They keep bugging, the media keeps bugging Trump, saying that he can't open, it's too soon. And, I mean, it's perfect storm for voter fraud. It's exactly what they want, I mean, are we supposed to stay in our homes till November? Get out of here. They're going to try and keep this going as long as they can. They're already doing a presumptive diagnosis of COVID deaths. Yeah. Not weird, because they want illegal votes. Exactly. They're trying to convince us of multiverse and aliens for when their fallen angel overlords show up. They have a cover story. I'm with you. I don't think there's aliens. I just think there's demons. And if ever there's an alien attack, it's just demons.
No, I used to, like, growing up, I grew up in a family that always believed in ghosts and conspiracies, and, I had cousins that said they saw aliens and ghosts, and kind of weird stuff happen all the time. And I've even experienced some weird stuff in my life, but I used to always believe in aliens. And now I'm kind of realizing that aliens might not exist, and that they've kind of been like more of a psyop to convince us that aliens exist, so that the government can come in and act like the savior.
Yep, and then everyone's going to line up behind the government.
Yeah, they could plan a fake attack, right? And everybody would be like, oh my god, aliens! And the government would be like, all right, just like they're doing now.
Yeah, everyone follow us into these warehouses. Get on these trains.
It'll be mandates just like this. They're going to be like, you guys have to do this or that. And it was all a setup. What's that thing, that obvious thing that, liars and people do, is that they create a problem so that they can, the solution, like,
it's Hegelian dialectic. It's a communist tactic. You already have a solution, which is your plan to take over the world.
Exactly.
So what problem do you need to create in order to make the people come to you and accept this solution? And then you win.
And that's kind of what I'm leaning towards now with the alien stuff. And I'm not like fully convinced or concluding, but that seems like a possibility too. And supposedly, like in the 1900s or whatever, the first, in the 20s or whatever, there was supposedly this alien attack that happened.
Supposedly.
I saw it was like on Netflix or something. I was like, what? How come I've never heard of this before? There's like footage of these like aliens that came. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
I forgot. I wish I knew the name of it, because I remember watching it. And then they were just talking like, was it a hoax? Was it this or that? But the government was involved. And what about like Area 51?
Exactly.
That whole thing with the alien autopsy where they're like, that's real.
I don't buy it. I think it's trafficking and drugs and children. Unfortunately, there's a lot of children being trafficked in this country. T Warrior has a question for you. I don't want to miss his question since he always jumps on a chat.
What is it?
He wants to know, Trevor, what are your biggest musical influences?
My biggest, like fat ones?
The fattest musical influences you got.
I don't have a crazy amount unless I'm hearing it. I'm like, oh yeah, I like that song. I know. But I'd say the musicians that I studied growing up the most was like I love Stevie Wonder, right? And let's see, I like the Beach Boys and the Beatles because my mom would always play like Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong and the old kind of like Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, that kind of thing. And then my dad would always love the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and kind of like rocky kind of stuff, classic American music.
Yeah.
And I grew up listening to K-Earth 101 all the time.
K-Earth 101.
And Kiss FM, and so I heard a lot of hit songs. And I wasn't a person that bought albums. I could say I probably bought 1 or 2 albums in my whole life. And I know most people, because I meet a lot of artists and they always have collections and they know everything, but I've really been more interested in harmony in general as opposed to
memorizing.
Or like being super inspired by someone else. There was a period of time when I wanted to sound like people, and there's this artist named Music Soul Child who I really liked because he had this soulful sound and he was really dope.
He was really good. What was that song? I just wanna.
Oh yeah.
You don't even really gotta be my girlfriend. I just wanna know.
So like I liked him. Like Stevie Wonder, of course, is a classic because Stevie Wonder played all the instruments, sang or wrote the songs, produced a lot of the songs. He did it all, and he's blind.
What? You had a really good joke about Stevie Wonder.
I did, but I'll save that for later.
Let's see. Joel says the setup is fire. That's right, Joel. You need to get your ass over
Come
here
on, Joel.
and
Where you
sit
at?
here in the middle.
Come
Or
on, bro.
over there.
Yeah, that'd be a lopsided, or no, that would be a reverse Oreo.
Yeah, we'll put the black guy in the middle. Cream on the outside, cookie in the middle.
Well, he's actually 30% white, so whichever he identifies as, I guess.
So I guess we'll put the Yoo-hoo in the middle. Trevor and Richard equals Pet Sounds or Sgt. Pepper. Oh, they're asking that. Do you prefer, well, he's talking about albums. Do you prefer Pet Sounds or Sgt. Pepper? Pet Sounds is a Beach Boys album, and Sgt. Pepper is the Beatles.
Like I said, I'm not an album guy. I'm
Harmony.
I don't know albums like that, but I do. I'm like the greatest hits guy. It's so weird. Like I liked stuff that were like I had the Beach Boys album. It was like the Endless Summer, and it was I think all of their biggest songs, and I feel like that definitely has affected, not infected, but affected me as a songwriter because I kind of just always want to make a song that sounds like a hit. Not just saying I will, but that's just what it's like I want to make more music that sounds just like an album song. It would be on there, and it's like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be on the radio, but it's a vibe,
There's a certain sense of harmony and vibes that those the songs that artists choose to release. They all have there's something in common that kind of makes it similar. So I know what you mean. You want to make those songs like radio friendly, whatever that might mean to you. A mirror for Joel says I don't like the uh-ohs. Joel Friday, you gotta get over there. NASA, Jack Parsons, L. Ron Hubbard, Aleister Crowley, etc. Satan worshippers, all communicating with aliens. Exactly. Aleister Crowley was that Satanist. He's the founder of the Church of Satan. It's pretty trippy stuff, man. It's a really big organization.
Well, so isn't Luciferian like in a nutshell? Isn't it like God would be, everyone is connected as one, right? And then Luciferian is like, well, I don't want to connect with you guys. I'm gonna go and do my own thing way over here.
It's rebellious.
It's rebelling against.
He's the first rebel.
So it's weird because I'm conflicted because I feel like I'm a fan of independence and people doing what they want to do with their lives. It's your life, right? I forget what documentary I was watching that like kind of broke it down in a way better way than I am, but it was explaining that Luciferian was that. But at the end of it all, was Luciferian will always end up dying, because it'll never. I wish I knew, but it was something along those lines where the Luciferian would go off on its own, and then it would end up. Maybe if it's because if you're a bunch by yourself, you're carrying on longer. You know, it's like if there's a bunch of people carrying a legacy of knowledge or whatever it is, they can always hand it down. But if you're all on your own, once you're gone,
that's it.
You can't carry on anything. And I don't know. It was just an intellectual, thoughtful thing.
Well, we talked about it one time about how it all kind of goes back to like original sin, and there's one outlook on it that it could be women having knowledge, and Eve getting Adam to listen to her and follow her emotions. But like Trevor had mentioned one time we were talking about it, the original sin is Lucifer. It's ego. He had pride. He didn't want to do what he was told. He thought he can do what he wanted, and he got his ass kicked out of heaven with 33.3% of the angels.
Got his ass kicked out of heaven. He got his ass kicked out of heaven. Got his ass kicked out.
Luciferians worship the intellect. Exactly. They're highly intellectual people, which makes them. That's why you gotta be careful talking to intellectual people, because it's like a spell. You get lost in the words they use, and it sounds like it makes sense, and you walk away thinking you get it, and they just played you. Can you really do what you want and still follow God's law? Asked Victoria. Blacktoria. What do you think? Can you follow God, but do what you want?
Well, I can't say that I know, because ultimately, deep down, you want to follow God, at least for me. And so when I want to do what I think I want, it's not really what I want. You know what I mean? It's what I think I want, which is Satan trying to seduce me into thinking I want it. Like in that End of Days movie, that's what he would do. He would try to convince you that why you want something, and you believe it.
He plays on your desires.
So I think that I think it's like, it's weird, man. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm a little off today, a little shaky.
I don't think you can do what you want. To me, that's very, very satanic. It just basically means, just like when people say you are your own God, or.
Well, that's the thing. Is it really what you want? Like, have you ever, thought you wanted something, and once you got it, you realized I don't want that. Yeah. So that's why it's like, I think with prayer especially, like I don't know what I want. I just ask for God's will to be done, and to give me what I need, and I try to just see things for what they are, as opposed to judge it and stuff. And like when I know that I'm wrong, if I do something that is what I want, I can see that I didn't want it, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. And so I think at the end of the day, as long as I recognize that when I'm wrong, I don't know, I'm forgiven somehow.
Yeah. We don't always know what we want. You should just do what is right, not what you want. 'Cause sometimes what you want isn't right.
And sometimes what's right isn't what you want.
That's right. Matt's like, End of Days with Arnold?
With Arnold!
Arnold! You guys gotta go to his page, and he has this Arnold rap song he made that sounds like Arnold.
This. I want everybody to get down. Everybody to get down. Don't fuck around. I just want everybody to get down.
Do it! And it kicks off with the best rap. I got 9mm bullets.
9mm bullets. If you fuck around, I'll use them to the fullest. Forgot the rest.
When people say follow your heart, that's bull, says Victoria. Exactly.
It's a bunch of crap!
It's a bunch of crap. Dane says God is outside of time. I'm smoking too much pot. Y'all get in your heads too much with that stuff. Says the guy who says God is outside of time.
Well, time isn't real. It's an illusion. I was watching that End of Days movie, and it's crazy because I realized time. What did I say? It was like the whole movie, I was like, why doesn't he just kill Arnold Schwarzenegger? Why didn't they just kill him? He had the chance. He never did. And because he gets off on seducing them into doing what he wants and having it be their consent, where it's like,
He needs you to sign the contract.
yeah, sign the contract for his soul. Because doesn't God say somewhere in the Bible that at the end of it all, he wins, right?
Yeah, in the end, God wins.
At the end, God wins, and so all the stuff that's happening in the middle, it's just a matter of time.
So you just gotta hold out and not give in. The devil's gonna lose eventually.
It's
But
a matter of when.
are you gonna give in and sign that contract?
Yeah.
That's the question. Mark has an interesting quote. We don't choose who we love. Sounds a little more like, that sounds like an LGBT slogan to me.
We don't choose who we love. Well, if we don't hate somebody, we got love for them, right? That's it.
That's it. Just don't hate anybody, and by being void of hate, you will therefore love that person.
Can you guys hear the stomps upstairs? Like my neighbors have cement shoes.
Yeah, the Jabberwockies live upstairs.
Yeah.
So they're always doing choreography and dancing.
Their favorite movie is Stomp the Yard.
Yeah, it's interesting. A bunch of construction workers live upstairs. It's usually the latter. You know this, man. Depends on what you mean. Follow what's written on your heart by the will of God, or follow vain imagination. Dane says exactly my point. God exists outside of time, and inside he already won. It's all done. Exactly.
Yeah, I think because time is, we only experience things that our human brain tells us we're experiencing. It's like, we think, it's like, is reality really happening, or is it my interpretation of reality? Like, am I projecting these images that I see? Or are these images there that I can see? It's just weird stuff. When I would get high, I would think about that stuff all the time.
You think a lot when you smoke. It's pretty interesting. Don't hate, says private account. Glorify God and enjoy Him forever. It's usually the latter. There's another article. I don't know if you guys saw it. There was this couple. I don't know how you call it. Quad couple. This is really frumpy looking lady who was in a relationship with 4 guys. Super beta. And she had a baby by one of these 4, grown boys. And then later on, one of those guys ended up being arrested and he was in a newspaper for having abused that newborn child.
What?
Yeah. So yeah, this super liberal leftist people. She's in a relationship with 4 guys, and then one of those guys ends up abusing the baby that she had by one of those 4 guys. Which just shows you, all that crazy leftist stuff. It's just nuts. It doesn't work. There's no peace. There's no order.
It's that Luciferianism.
Yeah, it always ends. It ends bad. It's a bad deal, and it's all based on their ego. The ego that she can have 4 guys, the ego that those 4 guys think they can share one woman.
Well, what I realize is that, I don't know what I realize. I know nothing. I had a whole image of what I was going to say, and then it just disappeared like that. I think it's because I stopped smoking weed.
Yeah, weed makes you just go. Your ideas just go on and on and on. T Warrior has a question. Can our great white hope recover the economy? Be white.
I think that it would really be the people, man. People make the world go round.
We need to get our asses out and just start buying stuff. People need to open their stores so we can go and buy stuff and just get back to it. Just not wait for anybody.
Yeah, have a business and just live their lives.
Yeah, so when people stop being scared, everything is fine. It always is fine. Everything's always well. We just gotta stop living in fear. Doesn't matter what happens. Neighborhood could blow up. There could be a fire, a bomb. No big deal. Whatever. Just another day in the neighborhood.
I'm dead, but no big deal.
No big deal. But it is something interesting. I don't know if you guys follow some of these alternative thinking ideas in terms of the Federal Reserve and oil. Since oil crashed and our dollar is tied to oil, that technically means our dollar just crashed because it just dropped to negative territory the other day.
Because our dollar is...
It's not on a gold standard anymore.
Oh yeah, it's not gold, it's oil.
Yeah, so it's tied to oil, not tied to gold, like it used to be when Nixon took it off. And Trump's always been a real big fan of the gold standard. So there's always been talk that Trump would bring it back, how that would work, how that affects our money. So it is interesting, all this stuff is happening now, right before his second term. We know that he's a fan of gold standard. He's not a big fan of the Federal Reserve. So who knows, maybe, maybe we get rid of taxes.
It is going to be time for a new currency, I think, or some sort of update. And I don't think, personally, it's going to be a Bitcoin or anything like that, because, I mean, I'm a fan of real value. I know water is valuable because you need it. Like, money and stuff like that, it's only valuable because we say it's valuable. So it's just interesting, because I'd be interested to see what just trade was like, where you just, if you're cold and you have no blanket, then a blanket's pretty valuable, and you might trade something for more, or it's just depends on what you need. What if you could trade, like, hey, you want some coffee? I'll trade you this cup of coffee for that phone charger. You might have 2 phone chargers, and a cup of coffee would sound good,
Chris Hawk says, it's true. I just came back from Chevron, filled up my F-150, and they paid me $85. Yeah, apparently that's the joke on Wall Street, is that there's nowhere to store this. We're not using enough oil, so all the providers and distributors they're full. They have too much stock. The supply lines keep pumping it out, so they have nowhere to put it. So that's why it's negative. Obviously, we need oil. These glasses are made with petroleum. Plastic. This keyboard is petroleum. So we need it.
This is actually platinum.
Yeah. But we'll see. Gold standard or not, I just want my money to be worth something. And maybe some taxes being cut, that'd be great.
I'd rather pay a toll every time I consume something. Like if I call the police, I need the police, I'll pay a toll. Or if I use a road, because I'm going to drive on it, I pay a toll. Like, I just am not a fan of paying for things that I never consume, things that people vote into, have our tax dollars pay for, that I'm against, that I'm not for, and that I have to pay for it. It's almost like the whole Satan contract thing. It's like I'm funding something that I don't believe in. So I'd be happy if I could not be taxed at all and just pay a toll on whatever it is that I would need to consume. If I go to the library, I pay a toll. If I go, to use the park, I pay a toll. And that way, that way I'm in control of my spending. I can, if I'm low on money, or I want to save more money to invest in a business or something, I won't be going to the library so much. Or I won't, maybe I'll just fight the criminal instead of calling the cops. Or maybe I won't use the road. Firefighters, whatever it is, I don't know. I don't know if that would work, but it seems like it could.
We definitely need to be taxed a lot less.
Yeah.
They don't need that much tax money. That's for damn sure. Victoria says, I was telling the girls about going back to the barter system. They laughed at me. It's cool. Yeah, bartering could be nice. Trading services.
Yeah. And see, I know that there's like a rabbit hole you go down into something where you're, down the road you'll find these problems with whatever it is that you're talking about. So it's like on the surface it sounds like it could be cool, but I don't know down the road what would be the pros and cons of that. You know what I'm saying?
Like we Indians. Yeah, like the Indians. Go ahead and barter. But whatever it is, we need to figure something out. The way that money works now is not very efficient. There's too many ups and downs. Oil's not a good thing to pin money to. So who knows? But then how bad is it going to be if they do start a new gold standard? I never lived through that. Does it affect our money? Is there deflation? Is there inflation? But we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. Someone asked if you think Trump has controlled the opposition.
I think that what he's been doing is, I think he's a smart guy. Isn't chess his whole thing? That it seems like he's making moves that are smart. Like, I think he knows his opponent, and so he knows what they're going to do.
It seems that way.
So I think that he leaves them. It's the old bait and switch. But I don't know. Just seems like it.
Yeah, I would hope so. I really hope that he is not controlled opposition. That he knows that he can't win just coming outright. You have to let these people destroy themselves. But There's a lot of strange people in his circle. You know, Jared Kushner, for example.
But I will
Strange
say that
guy.
while he at the end of the day, if you look at it just black and white, right? All this crazy stuff that's happening is while Trump is in office. So Trump could, I mean, he's the president, right? He's allowing all this to happen, and it's like all the crazy things that have been happening. Could he be? You know, it's like I don't know, man. Like we're losing our freedoms, and Trump's the president.
Yeah, it's a little.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to be biased in the sense of where I'm just like a huge Trump fan, and then all of a sudden it's like he can do no wrong. I think that there's just definitely some weird stuff. Like somebody would say something that while Obama was in office, he passed a law where the media could lie and you know spew propaganda, and you know it was fine. And so I ask, well, if he did that, then why isn't Trump passing a law to stop it? You know.
I mean, yeah, you gotta be open for everything. You shouldn't be a fangirl of Trump or anybody, really. Like, be able to be critical. Like, if he is as good as he seems to be, then may he continue. But it doesn't mean you're not gonna criticize him. I don't like Jared Kushner. I think that guy is always has some funny ideas that don't really work for America. And he's Trump's senior advisor. So, who knows? We just have to wait and see. We'll find out in November how crazy this gets. I think a lot of things are going to happen before November. A lot.
Yeah,
The
because
indictments.
there's so much crap in politics and so much bull that it's like you just go nuts and lose your mind trying to figure it all out. You know, that's why I'm happiest and more at peace sitting back and just more so being entertained by it. And I'm not trying to like fill my brain up with this useless knowledge of knowing and being right about things. At the end of the day, I need to figure out how to be successful in my own life. You know, as my own man, figure out my life, my business, and I know that if I'm just too caught up in this stuff, trying to fill my brain, it's like I got a closet, and I only got room for the dope outfits. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I don't
it.
want to have a bunch of clutter in there where I'm like, I might wear that, and it'll sit there, and I'll never wear it. You know, and I feel like that's what it can feel like with all this politics stuff sometimes is like you're learning something new, and most of the time the information you're getting isn't even like you know solid, because a week later the same news people will say, oh, it's actually this, and so it's just useless waste of brain energy.
It is. It's I mean, listen to stuff. It's cool. Like I'll hear anything. I know about all the different possible theories, from QAnon to controlled opposition to whatever you want to think, but don't hold on to it because you don't know. Just focus on your life, live right, and be ready so that when the opportunity comes to do something for yourself, you can do something. But there's no sense in holding on to it up here. Just go crazy. Question from a private account wants to know why we have laws against anti-Semitism but not against anti-Americanism. I agree. Very strange.
Yeah, it's so weird, man, that they want to like. Nobody's proud of America. You know, everybody's like.
You're a Nazi if you're proud of being an American, and
Yeah.
you're white.
And people don't like realize that how important our freedom is. In that, like they use the deaths and the graves that have been dug for the COVID-19 stuff, but people don't think about the deaths that people fought for us to have that freedom. You know, they want to take the national anthem out of schools. They probably have already in a lot
I think
of
a lot of
places.
schools aren't doing it.
You know, it's like being proud to be an American is like, it's just like, it's the worst. I always took it for granted because I just, you know, I was young and naive and I grew up in a different time too. And now it's like, as I get older, it's like I just really appreciate it, man. Especially once I started traveling outside the country in different places. And just realizing, wow, like we really got it great. And there's like 7-8 billion people in the world, and I happen to be born here in the greatest country in the world. And so when we start losing our freedoms and stuff, or at least seeing that it's possible that it's dictated by what the government says we do, you know, they're supposed to work for us.
Hell yeah, they're supposed to work for us.
It just seems like a weird turning point in our life.
Reprobative Mindset has a comment. Sounds like I read this in Trump's voice. It says, "We will be building fuel cell cars in America soon. we're going to take over the world with our amazing cars. That's what sounds very Trump.
Beautiful cars.
Beautiful cars, best cars, amazing cars. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, Tesla's supposed to change the world, but it hasn't quite happened yet either. And technically, he's not profitable.
Speaking of Tesla, I really do believe, that frequency and energy and vibration is really, like he said, that what is going to be the key to unlocking everything. I think the pyramids were built that way. Like if you've seen the cymatics videos with the sand where they have oscillator that plays a frequency and each frequency creates a pattern.
Different pattern in the sand.
A symmetrical, perfect pattern. Like that's obvious that there's a code in frequency. And we were listening to this guy who was talking about cells and frequencies and how they were, figuring out the harmonics of one frequency and another frequency.
And the effects on the cells. By looking at the effects of frequencies on bigger objects, water, glass, they can shatter glass with sound waves, and what would happen if they can find the right frequencies for your cell?
And each cell, like you could have cancer cells, and if you could crack the code in the frequency that will shake and break that cell, then you can cure cancer with that. And it's like it's homeopathic, it's natural, it's not
There's
some
no pills,
synthetic thing
no chemicals
that scientists made. It's like it seems like everything is like people want to play God so much that they want to recreate. Like God's the creator, and Satan can't create. He can only recreate, destroy, and recreate. And it seems like that's what they're doing. They're taking seed-bearing plants and natural elements and pairing them and synthesizing it.
They pervert it.
And so they're basically doing that. They're destroying it and then recreating it, and so that they can control it. Because if we should just be able to have free energy from the sun, free, food from all the crops and all the plants, and free medicine. Like it's all there. So it's just obvious to me when everything is just limiting us to being able to just be free, completely free.
It makes you dependent on a select few people. I mean, I could be wrong, but I remember when I was trying to study for medical school that they teach you that mustard gas is where they derive chemotherapy from. So if you spill that chemo liquid on your skin, it leaves a gnarly burn. So, but they're pumping that into your veins to kill cancer.
Yeah, my dad had cancer and he beat it, but he still has problems with his hands and his feet and weird little things where they tingle or go numb because of that chemotherapy.
That stuff is gnarly.
And that was like 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, if it's so good, if it's so good to beat cancer, why is it so dangerous to get on your skin? And I mean, it's just crazy. Like they try to invent things so that you have to pay them for this cure instead of trying to figure it out, like with sound waves. But look into it. Even the stars. There's an interesting video showing the stars aren't these solid objects. It looks like light and electricity and sound passing through water, and you see these patterns emerge in the stars. It's trippy stuff.
Yeah, I know. I really believe that. Like everything, it may look solid. This looks like a solid thing, but it's really something moving so fast. It's like if you bounced a ball so fast, it would become a
solid
that you could lean on because it's just so fast.
Vibration.
Speed of light or something.
T-Warrior says deception and fear are very powerful tools that all totalitarian regimes have utilized to gain power and control over their people.
I got an idea.
Wow!
Ah!
Where are we? Credit Solutionist says, I remember when I was a kid, we would stand outside for the pledge after they raised the flag, and then we would sing 2 patriotic songs. It was dope looking back. Yeah, we used to have to do the Pledge of Allegiance every day at school, all the time. We also had this thing called the freeze bell. So when recess ended, the bell would ring and they'd tell you to freeze. And then
Remember that?
Yeah, and then the teacher would whistle, you line up, and you go to class. Let's see. The whole class was expected to participate. Exactly. Tesla Tower was supposedly built in reflection to reflect the same geometry of the pyramids. What Trevor was saying. It's about, there's a documentary they want you to see called American Factory. It's about a GM plant going out of business in 2008 and then bought by a Chinese plastic manufacturer in 2013.
An American factory.
Bought by the Chinese. Yeah, no, China is not our friend. You don't hate them, but you're naive if you don't think that country has other goals besides global trade. You know?
By the way, we're looking for an intern girl who's willing to come be in a bikini and fill our coffees for us.
Taking applications now. TrevorWesley@gmail.com.
Yeah.
That stuff we ain't supposed to know. Like, children don't think about that stuff. Cymatics, flat earth, energy, vibrations. Exactly, Dane. They don't want you to think about that stuff.
That's it, man. There was this guy, I forget what his name was, but he figured out how he created this invention that allowed you to just dip it into water, and it automatically boiled the water like in an instant. And it was a frequency thing. And then all of a sudden he died, and they're like, oh, we don't know how to do that. We don't know how it was gone.
It's a trip. Mark says, I'm grateful as a kid. I never looked over and saw some idiot kneeling during the anthem. Every kid on a phone, etc. You're right. It was cool. Yeah, it was cool, Mark. It was different. It was, we lost something. And even in our time, there was a lot of anti-American sentiment already starting, but it's what a difference 20 years makes, 30 years makes. It's a trip.
And I think that it really stems to more so laziness. Like, people just, they're too lazy, man. They didn't want to do the national anthem. Or the national anthem is the song. The Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance, yeah. We should always be pledging allegiance, but you shouldn't don't be overly emotional about it. Just, this is our country. It's your home. It is an analogy for your individual home, so you gotta take care of it and treat it that way. No one has a right to be inside your home. You let them in your home. There's nothing wrong with thinking that way. Nothing at all. We had boundaries, and we were still scared of teachers. Exactly. You respected your teachers. You were scared of them. Matt Kruger, we had bombing drills under our desk in the 80s in West Germany. That's crazy. Yeah, if there's ever an earthquake, you're supposed to be in the triangle of life, they said. No longer do you go under a table because it can flatten you.
Yeah.
You gotta be between tables.
I feel like these people know this stuff.
Yeah.
These are some pretty woke people, as you would say.
They do want you to think about it. It's everywhere in our faces. I mean, in terms of God and creation, from the beginning, we ain't supposed to worry about all that mess. The pledge was written by a communist. Really? Interesting. Matt, send those details over. I wanna look into that. I didn't know a communist wrote the Pledge of Allegiance. David's in the chat. Oil went negative. Say bye to the value of the petrodollar. Exactly, David. So what next, man? Is the gold standard coming? What do I invest in? Obviously not Chevron. It was the Russians coming then. I'm sure there was an old timer that said the same thing about you. It's a shame what has happened to the schools. Exactly. Yeah, it's nuts, man. These kids are being raised to be selfish and emotional and angry and to play God. A bunch of little devils running around. Victoria just brought the Communist Manifesto. She's a commie. David says he thinks gold is going to pop. Then we'll pivot into crypto. Maybe. I don't know if we're ready for crypto as the only currency. But I don't know, man. I just want my money to be worth something. What do you do with our dollars? Are they just worthless? Do I trade them in? And
We'll convert it, but it's going to lose value.
Exactly. We have no choice. Don't tell me that. We should have a choice. No, but who knows? I don't make financial policy for the country. So we don't have a choice. Gold is so manipulated. Us as TP. We'll convert it, but it'll lose value. Hopefully not, but trade your dollars for a chip in your wrist. He sent me that video of the chip party where they're injecting that.
And I think that's
chip.
really old too. That was like a couple years old.
Yeah, it's not new technology by any means. Actually, you know who owns one of these RFID? Jared Kushner, Trump's senior advisor, Ivanka Trump's husband. He owns, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest RFID maker, and probably one of the lead companies producing this technology. Another interesting fact about Jared Kushner.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, check out the Weimar Republic. Yeah, Matt, I'm with you, bro. World War II did not happen the way they said it did. There's a lot of interesting things about World War II that people should look at, because what happened there determined the course of events that we're living through now.
Yeah,
That's
I think
for sure.
most history was narrated in such a way that is deviating from the truth. If you look at the way they're trying to narrate and play things out now, it kind of tells you that, don't believe everything else in history, because they're trying to write history now as a lie.
Everything's upside down. People they told you to hate, they may be people you should give a second chance and look into that history, because maybe there's some value there. Where they tell you there's no value, there might be value. They tell you there's no God, there's God. It's just a slow transition. Yeah, neither did the Civil War. Exactly. All of it was rewritten, man. All of it was rewritten. Who owned slaves? It wasn't all white people owning slaves. Who owned the boats? What was the percentage of people who owned it? All kinds of interesting questions that you could ask and look into. Let's see. Adam and Dane, Hitler was a huge Madame Blavatsky fan, into the weird occult stuff, aliens too. I don't know. I don't know if he was or wasn't. I don't know. Milk's not $100 a gallon yet. The books will be about the people who invested in crypto. Maybe, David. Maybe. What happened to the American Airlines, bro? It did not pop. It's still at $10.
He didn't claim to be the guy that knows. He just was looking out. He was like,
Yeah.
hey, it might go up, it might not.
Did you keep your shares?
I still got my $100
in
worth.
American? Yeah, he still got his shares. I haven't pulled out of the market yet. I'm waiting for some kind of rebound.
Yeah, time will tell.
Time will tell. I'm hoping it jumps up.
But I didn't put that. I put $100 in. Like, what's that gonna do? It's gonna do nothing. Either I lose $100 or I gain.
Hitler had a Jewish mama. I didn't know that. Interesting.
I don't know if we should say that name. I might get deplatformed.
I know, yeah. I'm not sure if you could say the H word. Yeah, David does invest. I'm invested too. It's bad, but nowhere near Weimar levels yet, says Smitty. Yeah, I mean, Weimar was pretty bad. What up, Daniel? Daniel's in the chat. Gaucho Bear.
What's up, Daniel?
What's up, Kratom Bomber? This police state, it can kick rocks. I will go take my chances in the wilderness. You bought 800 shares? Of what? I'm curious, what moves are you making, David? Please put your shares in the chat. Which companies did you invest in? I'm still in, I got GE for the long term, Ford, of course the S&P, and Vanguard, and I'm banking on Uber. I got a couple shares in Uber. I'm thinking Uber might be the next Amazon. Good night, everybody. Later, Article 4, Section 4. Dogecoin. If Hitler would have forgiven his mama for turning him against his father, do you think he would have committed genocide? Personally, I don't speak for anybody else in this room or in the chat. I don't believe the story they told us. There's an interesting book called The Holocaust Industry, written by Norman Finkelstein. You should read that one. Interesting. And he lost some people in World War II, and he's a Jewish professor who got drummed out of his job for writing that book. Interesting book. Norman Finkelstein. Look him up. Let's see. Ford stock. I know, Victoria. It's just taking a dump. Gracie says, would you guys... Well, here's a good question. Trevor, would you guys like for your wives to be well-known, a.k.a. famous, or in the eye of the public?
Probably not, no.
No, I wouldn't. Women have a hard time with ego as it is. That would only feed the ego. I don't agree. We're way too comfortable now. We aren't experiencing the hardships Germany went through. Oh yeah, no, it's not that bad yet. Weimar Republic was terrible. It was half the price it was 3 months ago. Exactly. That's why you got a dollar cost average. You buy in a little bit at a time. Mark Hidalgo, food, he gets it. Vanguard. Schukel Gruber, Hitler's maiden name. Really? Hot Computer Smell gave you a super chat?
Oh, thank you, Hot Computer Smell. You're hot.
You're hot.
You smell like a computer.
There is a unique smell to a hot computer.
Unique smell to a computer. There is a unique smell to a computer.
Netflix fell flat on its face. They did. I think Netflix is overvalued. Right now, David says he's betting again on American Airlines, expecting a good dip, but got a good position. I think you guys got a great position. $10. It's been up and down, but it's been setting at 10, so that could be the new shelf. And it can only go up from there.
I mean, I don't see airplanes going out of business. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
People gotta fly.
Certain things are just not going to go away. There may be new names or mergers, but they're not going to just go away.
Yeah. I think that I try to stay cognizant and aware of businesses that are not tied to anything too specific. Like if you notice Amazon, just the name Amazon alone doesn't necessarily shout one thing, you know, like there's so many branches of success that they could do. Just like Uber, it's like, you know, I have Uber Eats. It's a concept that is good, that goes beyond just one thing, you know, like American Airlines is just American Airlines, right? It's only going to be American Airlines. So I try to keep my eyes out, because I'm not big in investments or anything like that, but as I get older and try to look at it a little bit, I think about that a little bit.
Matt thinks we're nuts for playing the market, that we're feeding the snake. You're going to get a nasty bite. Maybe. I mean, but, you know, I would like to get some money.
You'll get a nasty bite.
Investing in medical supply companies, healthcare is not going anywhere. But who knows? The whole market can go to hell if we are changing monetary systems. Who knows what's going to happen? Delta might be a play, but earnings is coming up.
Let's see, who's the first person can say the name of this song? Ready? In the chat. Who's going to be the first one?
Name this song. I know what song it is. Hot computers know what to win. The wall going up. 30-foot wall. The wall going up. At the border. Grace has a question. What state do you see yourself raising a family in?
Well, most of my family's in Oregon right now. And I do, I got to put in the factors here. All right, I'm really white. That means I get burned. I don't want to be anywhere too hot. And I love California. I'm spoiled because I've lived here, and I would love to live in California, but the prices are insane.
Insane prices.
It's super left and liberal. I can't. My freedoms are taken away. I like a place that has the least amount of regulations. I'd want to live by a river, in a forest and stuff like that.
The Hake just super chatted us. What up, Hake?
Hake? Oh, snap!
Oh, it's a Hake report. The Hake report. Oh, it's a Hake report. The Hake report. Thank you, Hake. You guys should go to his channel right now and subscribe. Hake is amazing.
You already know Hake.
I mean, it's the ones who know
They already know.
Some know.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Amazing. Thank you, James. James is one of the bravest white guys I've ever met in my life. That man has no fear. Here's some more stuff. Oh yeah, what state would you raise him in?
I mean, I can't say I don't know. I've been looking at moving, possibly just looking at the market in like Texas, but I know that it gets really hot there. But Oregon, I like Oregon. I haven't been to enough places to really say, ideally it's right. I think of it like, if I could just make more money, I'd stay in California. Like, I like Big Bear. Big Bear is awesome. I don't know if I would live. Ideally, I have houses in different places.
Yeah, to be a millionaire.
While we're wishing and choosing, I'll have a house in LA, a house in Oregon, and wherever else I want to have a house.
I would have a house in Orange County, and then Idaho and Texas. I would like Idaho or Texas if I had a family.
Orange County's nice. I lived there, but at the same time, it has its pros and cons,
There are some pros and cons to Orange County.
Because Orange County, I remember Orange County, it's a beautiful people, man. People don't look that bad, especially the women. You know what I'm saying?
Matt gets it. Idaho, the Bundy boys. there was that group of those ranchers where the government tried to come in and take their land. It was more complicated, but they found out that really it was like a land grab, but under some other pretext. They ended up shooting some of these guys in the family.
A land grab. Is that like grabbing by the land?
Grab them by the land. But the government tried to come in and steal these guys' land. They fought back. Some agents were shot. The agents killed some of the family members, or at least one guy. They won. They got out of court. They were free men, and they beat the government. You know, Ruby Ridge. Look into Ruby Ridge. That happened a long time ago too. There's some bad actors in the government. But Idaho, Grace, I'd say Idaho.
Have you ever
Boise.
been to Idaho?
No.
Well, how you gonna move somewhere you ain't been?
I just know. I know in my gut. My
yeah,
spirit
see,
tells me.
that's one of those moments where you think you know what you want until you get it, and you're like, did I want that?
I think I'd be happy. I've been to Dallas, and Dallas is nice, but not in the city. It's like L.A. Somewhere out.
What about
Fort
like
Worth.
Colorado?
I've been to Denver, and it was all right.
John Denver's full of shit, man.
John Denver's full of shit. But yeah, what about you guys? Where would you live? I know Matt's in Indiana, so he's already got his
Because
answer.
no, at the same time, like there's things I love about LA, and people are important. You know, like when I go visit Oregon, it's nice to be in the forest and be alone out there and get away. But after a while, it becomes like you want something else. You know, and you go to the store and everyone's kind of like, you know, fat and slobs. You know, not all, but most. And it's like I'm there for a while, a couple of weeks, and then when I come here, I get off the plane, I'm like, well, I'm back! And all these beautiful people. You know what I'm saying? There's an energy to it.
There's
It's
a
like-
lot of beautiful people in California.
It's like in even in New York, once you get to New York, like the energy of people are always doing something, and it just kind of fuels you. And maybe that's my own fault for being, you know,
of the world.
in a sense of my environment, but I feel like it's kind of natural too, in the sense of like, you know, they say you are who the five people you hang out with are going to be determined, and you're going to be like them, you know. And so there's something about the fish tank you're in. You know, you're only going to grow as big as the tank you're in. And so, of course, I'd like to move to somewhere once I had enough money and success where I was like, all right, I'm ready to just settle down. But there's just something. It's like I remember when we lived in Orange County. My mom was like, we need to go to the store. My dad was like, I'll go.
Just to get out of the house.
You know, just because of the women at the grocery store.
They're hot.
They were hot.
We were in Oregon.
He was faithful, but he still liked to go to the store.
And even in Oregon, which, you know, what was it? Eugene. It's not the biggest city, but it's a city. You know, it's got a college. It's just different. Like, the girls out here really put, you know, a little more into their looks, which could be, you know, of the world. But they're more feminine looking out here in Southern California.
I don't think having pride in looking good and presentable is of the world. I think that's a character thing, you know?
Yeah, Eugene's, Joseph Baudukan says, Eugene, what's up? Exactly, he must be an Oregonian. Someone says they're hot in Davis. Yeah, UC Davis, right? Hot college town. It's just something about that. You do want your woman to be feminine, you know,
Absolutely.
to take care of the way she looks, to look beautiful. Because
Pow!
you can't be looking like a mess coming out with your hair all nuts, wearing sweatpants every day. You know, like look pretty.
And I think that contributes to a relationship too, because if people are always on their A game, if I get dressed and I look good and I become more valuable in the sense that my lady will see that other people will like the way I dress or like the way I present myself, or it's like manners or anything like that. It's like I say options, right? Even if you're married, you want to say you got options. Not in the sense that you're going to be unfaithful and cheat, but in the sense that you're an option to other people. And it's like in business or anything like that. Once I notice too with women is once they think they got you, then all of a sudden things start being weird because you take it for granted. Just like growing up in America and not even thinking about, you know, how our freedoms we had and we took it for granted, but now that things are starting to, you could lose it. Now it's like, oh my God, what are we doing, you know? And so I think that if there's that healthy balance,
you got to keep that spark,
to keep
that
that
dynamic.
going, man, it's like force. It's a force.
Right. You got to always keep that masculine energy. She keeps the feminine energy. The second it just starts to kind of die out.
Yeah, you can't get too comfortable.
No.
And so I think that
Don't be farting around your girlfriend.
When you're on your A game, both of you, and you kind of wonder. I want to wonder what she's up to. You know, and I want her to wonder what I'm up to. I don't want to be predictable where she's like, oh, I know what he's doing. You know?
You know where Truckee is? Duncan Spake says Truckee has the hottest women.
Where's Truckee?
Yeah, where's Truckee? 'Cause
I'm about to hop in my Truckee
we're
right
going-
now.
I got a little red truck outside. We'll go to Truckee today. Joseph Baudukan says girls in Eugene have tiny bangs and bull rings.
Yeah, only the ones at the coffee shops. Those are winning. The little
Yeah.
drive-through coffee shops.
Dutch Brothers Coffee Shop. He turned me on to it. You want to find the most feminine-looking women in Eugene, Oregon? You got to go to Dutch Brothers Coffee Shops.
Well, they're not just Dutch Brothers. There's a lot of different coffee shops, but that's a mainstream
It's
one.
pretty much a guaranteed way to see a normal-looking girl that you're used to in Southern California. Someone who
They're
takes
cute.
care of it. You know, they're cute. Wearing, you know, the hair's done. They're nice. Let's see. They're tall and long-legged in Davis, California. Junior college was great. All the poon, just looking. I ain't being a beta, I swear. Another place that Matt says go to Chaco Canyon and the Four Corners area of the. Really? The Four Corners, I think that's where Utah meets New Mexico, meets Arizona, and whatever else. Nevada? I forget. Interesting. So we gotta go to Truckee. Is Truckee in Indiana? And then Davis. And then it's an hour from Reno on the 80, says Duncan. Alright, that's not that bad. You guys want to see beautiful girls, says Nadek? Go fly out to Russia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Russian girls
Sure.
are beautiful.
Like Ukrainian women, beautiful.
Bro,
I want to
bro.
go to Brazil. Can't wait to go there. Colombia, Italy. I've heard great things.
Yeah, Belize. I've heard Belize is pretty beautiful as well.
We got Belize.
Bro, Colorado, Ukraine. But I don't know. I mean, girls from another country are gonna, if they don't, there's always that language barrier. It could be fun, but I don't know.
Do
if
they
it's gonna
have
last.
hair on their nipple?
Yeah, that's a good question. No hair.
Do they have hair on their nipples? Yeah.
I lived in San Pedro, Belize, says Adam. Awesome place. Dane's talking crap. He says, and y'all say you're about natural. It is natural, Dane. If she doesn't take care of herself, that's unnatural.
What is he talking about? Hair on your nipples?
I guess. Yeah, you want hairy nipples, Dane? Do you think that's natural? What's natural is called grooming and hygiene. That's natural. Drink with me and you'll be...
Was that Mark?
Mark.
I knew it. And you'll be in a world of pure intoxication. Take a look and you'll see I don't care about carnation. If you want to view paradise, grab some Zanny bars and chew it. This country, Nancy, she says screw it. It's all about control. There's nothing to it. Drink with me and you'll be in a world of pure intoxication. Yeah, it's for you, Mark.
That was for you, Marky Mark. Everyone says amazing. Kingstown, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is great too. Reminds me of that song Rags to Riches. I don't know what song that is. Rags to Riches. Don't forget to smash that like button, everybody. We gotta beat these algorithms, or at least play
Don't
into
forget to smash all the like buttons. Don't forget to smash the like button.
the song from Goodfellas movie. Which song? I like Goodfellas, but which song was that? Rags to Riches. I forget. I lived in Kingstown for a year in medical school. Jamaica? Kingstown, Jamaica. Sounds like
Right near the beach.
right by the. I want to talk to Samson.
I want to talk to Samson. Fly me to the moon like that bitch Alice Cranston. Cause it's hard being black and gifted. Sometimes I want to throw it all down and get lifted.
Queen Butterfly is asking if you could sing your version of Imagine.
I don't know if I ever learned that song.
That communist song from John Lennon.
Imagine there's no betas. It's easy if you try. The world won't be just women. There'll be men, real guys. Imagine all the betas turning to alpha. You. So I was like, us, and
Oh, did you tell Mark about the we don't need no...
he told me.
Oh, that was Mark's idea?
Yeah.
Oh, Mark, great idea. We don't need no vaccination.
We don't need no state control. How's it go? No.
Hey,
Hey, Biden, leave those kids alone. We don't need no vaccinations. We don't need no state control.
Joe.
Hey, Biden, leave those kids alone.
That was a good one, Mark. I'm gonna cash my check. Heck yeah, we cash that check. If you don't want your stimulus check, please send it over here.
I don't even know if I got a stimulus check. I need to check my bank account and see if that direct deposit, because I get paid normally from direct deposit from my music, and so I need to see if there was a direct deposit that was put in there from
The
the stimulus
The
check.
IRS.
How much was it? $1,500?
I wish, $1,200.
Oh, $1,200. Well, I gotta see if that came in. They're like, oh, you got $1,200, but we taxed you for it. We took 40% out. So
Yeah, it's crazy, man. They're supposed to send another $1,200 in May, but I think it was
but
dependent.
they may not.
They may not. But who knows? And then the Democrats wanted to get $2,000 a month to everybody in the country, and I think cancel rent.
Where is this money gonna come from?
Our money.
Yeah, but then what?
Then the value of the dollar goes down.
Like, I don't know, man. It just seems like it's just leading towards that communist socialism
Exactly. You
crap.
pay people $2,000 a month. They're not going to want to go back to work.
And everybody wanted this. It's like Biden, or Bernie Sanders, his whole campaign for the year, or however long, was been pushing that kind of thing. And then what do you know? Towards the end, it's like, oh, here's a huge viral epidemic, leading us to that. It's like forced upon us. Weird stuff, man.
Matt says if we take a magnifying glass and look at your checkbook on the line that you sign, it's not a line, that there may be words there like a hidden contract.
Really?
Interesting, Matt. I'm gonna have to look that up and see if I have any old checkbooks. I haven't written a check in years.
Matt has all the answers.
Hey. Oh.
Hey, Matt, rent me and build a house on your land. come on, Matt. We'll build a what are those shipping container homes? You know what I'm saying?
Schmitty said he got $3,200 in Trump bucks. How did you get $3,200? Did you have how many kids do you have?
He's got kids.
He has kids. Well, look at Schmitty doing it the right way. I wish I had about 4 kids. That's $500 a pop.
But yeah, but you know how much money you lose having kids?
Exactly. The bunch of people are gonna cry when they don't get that refund in 2021. You really think it's gonna be tied to that? I heard that that's not how it works. That they can't take it from your refund next year. It's supposed to be just a free check. Let's see. Guys. We own the Fed now. Well, that's what I heard, that the Federal Reserve is now merged with the U.S. Treasury, but I don't know if that's for sure. That would be great, though. They hacked Bill and Melinda Gates. They did. They apparently hacked the Chinese lab, the Gates Foundation.
So what do they find, though?
I don't know.
Leak that shit, man.
Anyone seen any leaks yet from this computer hack? Schmitty got them babies.
See, that's what doesn't make sense, right? If Bill Gates creates Windows computers and he's able to be hacked and he has a bunch of viruses in his computer, how is he supposed to cure and fix and figure out our problems for viruses in real life with people? Fix your computer virus issues
Before you
then
fix ours.
try to figure out the people, right, man?
Gracie wants to know, do you think getting married in a courthouse is cheesy?
I don't think it's cheesy. I think that what matters is you're getting married.
Yeah, I mean, technically, you should follow the law of the land. The law of the land says you need a marriage license, so you got to do that part anyways. There's nothing cheesy about it.
I think it's kind of cheesy to spend a whole grip load of money on a big wedding so that you can show everybody, I'm married, guys. Look at me. I have the best
Some
life.
people spend like $50,000 or more on a wedding.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're rich and you got the money and it's no big deal, you know. But I'd rather not spend any money and just get that towards us having a life together and a family, and you know, so in the long run, not the short in your face. Oh, let's impress everybody with our wedding.
It shouldn't be a whole group of people. If you're gonna get married, you know, just your closest friends and family, if you even want your family there. But it shouldn't be this giant concert of an event. Go to Vegas and get married, says Queen Butterfly. You could do that too.
What's up, Queen Butterfly? Butterfly, she's came from overland and sea. She's a little shy, sad of eyes, but very wise was she.
The greatest thing you'll ever know is just to love and be loved in return, says Joseph. Sounds
Joseph
sweet.
knows the greatest thing you will ever learn is just to love and be loved in return.
Mark says, I say if you are with a girl that insists on an ego festival, run. Yeah,
Run.
I mean, it should be fun. I would spend some money on it. I'd like some things, like it'd be a good little get together, hang out with friends.
Yeah, I get it that, like, you know, the guests you have and stuff, you want to have an eventful kind of thing where, you know, it's not a burden to have a wedding where, you know, if I go to someone's wedding, I don't expect to spend a bunch of money on my own dinner and all these things. It's like, you go support. Weddings should be free. Right? It's like if you're a host of any party, it's like, hey, come to my party, but if you're going to come, you got to fund it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
And
I
don't
don't
have
know.
your wedding out of state. You know what I'm saying? Some people
Destination
go out
weddings?
destination weddings, and you got to spend thousands of dollars.
If you're gonna do that, don't invite people unless you're gonna pay them to come.
Exactly.
Like I think that's pretty silly. Hey, I'm getting married. I want you to come and be my best man, but it's gonna be in Hawaii, and tickets are $1,000 round trip. It's like, well, then you're gonna buy my ticket. I love you, but not that much.
They're like, it's our wedding. How dare you?
It's your fault for getting married over there. Trevor, can you rendition us some Autumn Leaves?
I don't really know Autumn Leaves, but I made a song a long time ago. It was just the chord progression. I know the chords.
protests at Huntington Beach. I like that idea. People should be out there standing less than 6 feet apart and just having a good time.
I mean, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to.
I'm down to go. If
Yeah,
you guys
this
want to
house.
go, think,
There's power in groups, you know.
heck yeah. Let's go out Huntington Beach, then back to work. Let's put Huntington Beach back to work. Exactly.
Let's put Huntington Beach back to work, jerk.
Queen Butterfly says she wants a fireplace. Yeah, hospitals are empty. Exactly, Grace. They're empty. It's all a bunch of nonsense. Nothing big is happening. I drive by hospitals all the time. There's nothing new. I got a buddy at Glendale Adventist. It's business as usual. I mean, they're wearing a little more PPE, but that's because their boss told them to. But yeah, who's going to Huntington Beach? That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
Get out, go to the
I'd
beach.
rather stay home and be controlled.
Yeah, let's go to the beach. I'm down.
I'm not a huge beach fan. I like to go to beaches where you can walk around and see the town, you know, boardwalk type stuff. But sitting on the sand, it's not a fan.
Well, they got the pier.
Unless I'm in Hawaii.
I say let's roll. We'll get a nice big American flag. Have a couple natty lights. Gotta go to Mexico tomorrow, says Mark. Otherwise I go. Oh, must be nice. Mark?
Oh, is there more freedoms available in Mexico?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Someone's having a good life.
Mark, we want to get a bus and then convert it into a home. Will you help us make it?
Yeah, Mark, give us a hand, bro. We want to get a big ass school bus and turn it into an RV and then tour the country. I want to go to the Grand Canyon, says Queen Butterfly. I've never been. Well, I went as a kid, but I don't remember. For work, can't cross for recreation. Oh, interesting. Yeah, the border shut down. So he's going for work.
Oh. Well, I'll be your assistant,
Yeah, just tell him that we work for you.
if that works.
Did Ilhan Omar marrying her brother make him a U.S. citizen, or a beta, or both? It made it gross. That's what it is. Matt says they're shooting tomorrow out back. It's target practice class. I love homeschooling. Amazing. Matt's he's living a good life. Teaching his kids how to chop down trees and work chainsaws and shoot guns. That's a real father right there. Cheers from Tokyo. You got somebody from Tokyo.
What's up, Tokyo?
Christo from Tokyo. Hoshita! Honida! Stream live, y'all. I'll be
It's
stuck in the
actually
Bay Area.
arigato.
Arigato! Sounds cool. Jumana. I don't know what Adrian is saying. Gracie says, I want to go too. Well, let's go. Let's get the gang together and let's go to Huntington Beach tomorrow. 12 o'clock.
Unless you're scared, stay home and be controlled by your government. You could be outside in the trees and the forest. You stay at home all alone, controlled by the laws they mandated.
Queen Butterfly wants to know if you know how to play What a Wonderful World.
I smoke trees of green, smoke joints too. I roll them up for me and you, and I think to myself, that's some wonderful earth. I smoke trees of green, and I watch them grow. They'll grow much, they'll learn much more. I don't really have to know how it goes. And I'll never know. And I think to myself, I messed it up. I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
There you go, Queen Butterfly. That song's for you. Thank you, Gracie. Gracie just gave a beautiful little super chat.
Thank you, Gracie. You're such a wonderful girl.
She really is, folks. She's amazing. She's a wonderful girl. A wonderful girl. Like the girl who's organizing this event tomorrow in Huntington Beach is Jumana. She's in the chat.
Jomama?
Jumama. JG Reflections. So get in touch with her. If you got an email or something, you should drop it in the chat so everyone who wants to go can find you. But 10 a.m. Huntington Beach Pier, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow, Huntington Beach. Schmitty with a super chat. Appreciate the chill stream, fellas. Thank you, Schmitty.
Thank you, Schmitty.
You keep making those white babies.
Some people are shitty, and then some people
Are schmitty.
Exactly.
You gotta get those numbers up, Schmitty. You gotta pump up some more kids. JG Reflections. These two have an amazing stream. Thank you, Big Bump. We're just trying to, we gotta get Joel Friday on the stream. We got a lot more people to hang with. We had Big Bump on last episode. Black Toria was on before that. Eventually we'll get Dancing for Jesus to jump in. And then who knows who else? You know, Iconoclast music is trying to drop into the streams sometime. If you got recommendations, send them over. Can you make an Earl and T mixtape? Ask Duncan.
They're not I'd rather give music to the ones that deserve it, and Earl and T they go. Neither does Marcus Jones.
Anyone from church that's super opinionated. Yeah, we want people who don't agree with us. You know, we're not gonna hold it against you. But, you know, just good conversation as long as you can talk about it and take it. That's all that's important. You should be able to hold your own ground and not get pissed off.
Is the piano too loud? I feel like sometimes it could be way louder than the dialogue and you don't hear anything, but maybe what we're saying doesn't matter either.
That's also true. Dancing for Mama. Exactly. Schmitty's got that super seed. Yeah, Schmitty does not shoot blanks. Queen Butterfly says, it is good. Sound is good. This sounds like Kanye's Jesus is King. I think Kanye's Jesus is King sounds like this. All the opinionated people run away. It is true, Victoria. Everyone who has a strong opinion ends up running the hell away. They can't take disagreement. They get pissed at you, and then they're gone. Uriel Giovanni is in the chat. Is that? That's not Giovanni A. Schmitty gonna wall funny. That Hoosiers way. Gonna walk funny.
Did you guys see my my knife video? He helped me out. We made this little video showing the knife. But check out this new knife I got. Pow!
Amazing knife.
Stab!
Mark,
I was listening to
thanks for the super chat, Mark. Mark says
Oh,
thank
Mark?
you for the
Oh,
thank you for the
brother.
Nasty Pelosi song.
Oh, my man.
Well, thanks for giving Trevor that idea for we don't
Yeah.
need no vaccinations.
Yeah, I gotta actually do it.
But yeah, his knife is pretty badass.
It's pretty sharp, man. I've been cutting lots of things.
You've actually seen this knife in movies before if you grew up in the 90s. If it doesn't look familiar, it's from a classic horror movie with a guy with a ghost
Scream.
mask. There you go.
I didn't know that until I started Googling the knife.
You could tell by that curve.
It's all about the curves, man. All knives need curves. You know what I'm saying?
Matt says you could skin a deer with that.
You sure can.
Dude, this knife is ridiculously
and,
sharp.
and it's full tang, too. It's not like some half blade kind of crap.
It's $100, but it's probably the best big ass knife I've
Yeah,
ever
I
seen.
mean, I think that's cheap, though, for a knife that's like, this is a knife. I've seen people post about it saying that they've had the knife for 40 years. I got this knife 40 years ago. It's classic, man.
No, Dane, it's not a scary movie. Scream, that's where it started. Scream is the original movie.
Scream.
That's a butter knife if I ever seen one. Ooh, talking ish.
You better believe it.
Stab. It is good for stabbing. The smaller one would be better though. Which one? The
119?
119 is like 5-inch blade. But there's another one like the 149 or something. It's even bigger. I don't know. The 120. That's a solid blade, man. That thing is. You can stab someone clear across their body. Trevor's latest video. Thank you, Schmitty. He just dropped the YouTube link. Yeah, check out the
Well,
video.
thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I knew I should have made you. I was glad I made you a moderator.
Yeah, you're an amazing moderator, man. But yeah, check out that video. It's important you guys like the videos too, because that's how this stuff works, especially for Trevor. Go like all his videos. Tiger King. I will never recover from this financially. That's a hell of a show. Look for a case. Nah, not me, Glaze. Case knives. And grab you a K-bar. I never heard of case knives. Thank you, Schmitty. Dropping that link. K-bar is bayonet for the M4. Just need the plug. Yeah, K-bars are amazing. That's what the Marines use, if I'm not mistaken. It just looks intimidating. Dane does have a K-bar. When you get back to LA, Dane, come to Trevor's. He knows how to sharpen knives pretty damn good now. Oh, dear mama. You always was a black queen, mama. Who would be a great guest? Beta Mike. Oh, Mike would be an interesting guest. San Diego Mike, Angry Mike, Passionate Mike. If he'll ever come back to LA, he'd be interesting to talk to. As long as he doesn't get angry in here. Alphas don't gossip. Does it anyways. What are you talking about, Dane? Not sure Trev should share where he lives with that guy. That's a good point. I don't know if we want Mike knowing where this guy lives. We're gonna have to do a remote stream from a public place, nondescript.
We gotta get the call-in to work.
Yeah, once we figure out that call-in feature, be a lot easier. Then it won't matter. Then you don't have to bring guys who are angry here. Chicka 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 Slim Shady. I'm listening to Twin Babies. Who's Nico? You know Nico? Who's Nico, Grace? You have not lived till you have killed a deer with a bow and arrow, or fished with one either. I want to get a bow and arrow, compound bow. My foreman in Indiana showed me a deer he killed. He's got like 10 acres or 20 acres in Indiana. He loves to hunt. He says it smells like crap. As soon as you cut them open, it makes you want to puke.
That's gross. Ooh, it smells like the insides of a deer.
But if we ever go to Indiana, he'll let us go hunt with him. He's got all kinds of guns and bows and arrows. Nico, Nick Gonzalez, the ankle baby. Yeah, we should have the ankle baby on.
Nick Gonzalez.
I cannot promise anything. We have the farmers market open in May night. Wrong. Only if you bust a gut. Good to know. I did hear that. If you rupture the intestines,
That's what we watched in that movie.
That's
What
what
was
the
it?
smell.
We're watching that movie with
Dragged
Bruce
Across
Willis.
Concrete. Amazing movie.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. But
Yeah.
the guy, because he swallowed the key that was
They went to the garage where they had the
Hey,
kid in the
mama.
car.
No.
Yeah. Dragged Across Concrete. You gotta watch it. Matt said if you come to Indiana, you better let me know. Yeah, dude, he lives close to you. He's in Bloomfield. I know it's not Bloomington, but yeah, Bloomfield or Bloomingfield. That's where he's at. He's got a nice little lot of land. Can we take calls? I can, if maybe through IG, and I'll just have to have the phone speaker on for now. You want to have Mark on?
Yeah, let's try.
Yeah, Mark, hit me on Instagram or FaceTime me, and then I'll just have to.
You know what
play
I
there.
could do? You know what I could do? Aha!
Your speaker.
Yeah.
Aha. Hold on, Mark. I think we have a slightly ratchet solution to this. If you guys come to me, yeah. Bloomfield. Yeah, an hour 20 from here south. Well, then who do you want to call in? No better person to speak with than you, Mark.
Well, you got this here speaker, but you'd have to connect to Bluetooth.
I got the Bluetooth.
We have Bluetooth speaker right in.
Let me see.
All I gotta do.
Bluetooth. What's it called? Stark?
I think I gotta figure out how to actually, cause I never use it for the Bluetooth feature. I just plug it in.
What brand is that?
Oh, mode. Now hold it down.
Look at this giant pterodactyl.
Well, I got indoor and outdoor. I didn't know I had these options. Let's see. How do I?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Maybe if I hold it down, then it'll set to
What
Bluetooth.
brand is it?
This is Monster, man. This thing's a beast. Superstar Monster Blaster. I got this free because I did a performance or a Q&A at a panel a couple years ago.
Which, I don't know what Bluetooth they would be.
I think I have to hold it down.
Ready to connect.
Now connect. It's a Monster Blaster.
Nothing comes up as Monster
Oh, it
Blaster.
will. I just did it.
No. I got K3080.
It would show up as a new discoverable device at the bottom.
There we go.
See?
Superstar Monster Blaster.
We are connected.
Now we're connected.
Now we're connected.
Now all I gotta do is turn up the volume, put it right
Do
here
it,
by the
Mark.
speaker.
Come on, Mark. Do
and
it.
Now whoever calls, we got the we
Too
can at least
late.
hear him.
Mark has to do it. Yeah, Mark, you gotta do it now. It's your idea. 2 seconds. Come on, Mark. Do you think a man should have a private bathroom or a shared bathroom?
For what?
I don't know. I think if you're married, you should have 2 restrooms, one for him and one for her.
Do you?
I think so. If I get a house, she's gonna have her own bathroom. She can do all her business in that bathroom.
I like bathrooms though that are split, like where you can have. You know, it's like you could brush your teeth and look over and be like, "Hey, we're both brushing our teeth."
What if she drops a major one and you walk in after that? Do you want to smell your wife's?
That's my wife.
I wouldn't. 2 restrooms for me.
I mean, what are you gonna live in a house with one bathroom?
Yeah, but you got to make sure one is dedicated for her to do all her business.
I don't know.
I don't know. 2 restrooms, I'd say. That's my advice.
I'm a fan. I see a master bedroom with a master bathroom that it's just an amazing bathroom. It's big enough for 2.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be a separate. I don't need my own special bathroom, but
Michael Caine said that they asked him what was the secret to his marriage lasting so long, and he said 2 bathrooms. I believe it.
what do I know?
Keep that romance alive. You don't need to smell that. Plus, she's gonna have all her nail polish and all that crap all over the sink area.
If she's sloppy,
All women. All women.
you just gotta keep her in check. Clean that up.
Guns is definitely the deadliest.
So I got this speaker. Is anyone calling in? We gotta.
Yeah, we got the
figure
speaker
it
up.
out.
Somebody call in.
But how are they gonna call in? What are they calling?
Oh yeah, you gotta know me, so.
Yeah.
Or find me on Instagram and you can call in through Instagram.
Well, no, then you have to go live. What could you have WhatsApp or anything like that?
It would still take over this. Either
That's
way,
okay,
I got WhatsApp.
because our focus will be on them.
Just hit me on
I think
Instagram.
I have a laptop too. Even though we've been streaming forever.
There should be at least 4 bathrooms in a house and a giant master bath. I'm not gonna say that that's a bad idea. Here goes Mark. What up, Mark? Hold on. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you gotta connect it to the speaker.
And everyone's calling. Hold on.
What's happening?
What's up, buddy? Why is the speaker not working?
It's plugged in. You gotta set it to Bluetooth, right?
It is. Superstar says connected.
Well, in the phone call, I think you have to set it there.
Let me see. No. No. All right, we'll just have to do
I have
this.
no idea.
I'm just gonna put the phone up here. All right, Mark, you're on.
What's going on?
Nothing much, man. How you doing?
All is well. Just calling in, seeing if this call thing works. I had to get out of the room because I got that 30-second delay.
Yeah. This Bluetooth is connected, but it's not putting you on. So
As long as people can
I'm
hear.
standing next to the cell phone, so it'll catch it for
As
everybody.
long as you can hear.
But I can't see his questions now, so everybody, you're just gonna have to wait. But Mark, what do you think, man? Are you gonna have 2 restrooms for you and your wife?
My wife likes having a lot of restrooms, and I like just leaving all that stuff to the woman. You know, let them make the house pretty and all that. Give me a shop in the back or something to do all my stuff, and it's gonna be dirty. I don't want to dirty up the nice house. That's kind of how I look at it.
I agree. I just think it's kind of gross. Like let our business be our business and her business be her business.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm kind of disgusting. You know, just like, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I
I
know
mean,
what you mean.
I'm sure my wife probably wants a huge bathroom or something.
Of course.
Just as like a guy, I'm like kind of dirty. You know what I mean?
Well, we just don't. We're just okay with things. You know, like we're not gonna. We just, I can be okay with a pile of clean laundry and a pile of dirty laundry.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't sugarcoat it. I know I'm pretty gross.
You're just nasty. I think Trevor's got a solution to get the chat up so we can see the comments in real time. So, Mark, what do you think about the knife collection?
Awesome. I got a little like mini cleaver because I was talking to Trevor about knives. I was like, yeah, cool.
How do you
I'm into
how
it.
do you like that thing? Because I feel like it's not the most practical thing, but it is cool to have in a collection.
It's just cool to have. I haven't even used it for anything yet. It's just, I mean, what are you going to cut with that? Like when you're
Exactly.
dicing green onions or something, you know?
You
Very-
might be on a picnic in your little RV trailer.
Yeah, small vegetables.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like maybe you could dice really small, thin vegetables.
You
but
can do
like,
baby carrots.
at the same time, I think it would be really good to defend yourself with. That would be a nasty, nasty cut.
Cleaver to the head.
Yeah, cleaver to the neck.
The cleaver with that reverse grip, I wouldn't mess with somebody with that.
Yeah, the new buck knife he has, I think, is just really impressive and just visually intimidating.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing. You just want a knife that people are like, yeah, I'll go mess with somebody else.
Exactly. Who the hell wants to mess with a blade that's 8 inches, damn near 8 inches long?
Yeah. But obviously, you know, you were lying earlier talking about you ain't got no guns.
I don't want the government to know how many guns I got.
I said you got water guns. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That counts.
that's all I collect. I got a 9mm water gun, a couple water rifles.
I got some rubber band guns, some heat
Yeah,
guns.
you know, I
You
that's
know?
all I collect. I collect golf clubs. You know, different caliber golf clubs.
I just, you know, believe in nonviolence, so
Exactly.
I just hug everybody.
I'm a peaceful man.
There you go.
I mean, you never know if Facebook can listen to you and then give you ads based on what you just said, even when the phone or the app is not on. Who's to say that they're not listening and figuring out how many guns you got?
Sure, but you got to admit, if they're coming after all gun owners, I mean, like, you have 100 million people going to jail, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It ain't happening anytime soon, just yet.
No, I don't think there's a problem owning guns. You know, if you're kind of playing around with those grayish laws, I wouldn't do it in California.
All right, we're on.
All right, we're on. Is it chat
So
up?
hopefully they can still hear you. But let me try to figure out the solution for that.
All right, there's the chat. Let's see if we missed anything. That's what machetes are for. The cell clarity and vid is solid. Yeah, it's because the call clarity, because I was standing next to the camera. I was trying to get Mark on the speaker, but it won't transfer. How does Mark sound from here? Say something, Mark.
Nice. Have another drink.
Say something. There it goes. All right, let's see. See if anyone's got any questions for you, Mark. Mark sounds hot. Says says a dude from Oregon.
Joseph Baudichamp,
Yeah.
I'm guessing?
Yep. Who is Joe? You know Joseph?
I do. I know Joseph well.
So is he an MMA dude?
Not specifically MMA, but he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's really good.
So you're saying I can't take him in a
No.
fight? Okay.
You cannot.
All right. Not even with a buck knife.
You could take him to the dance.
I can take him to dinner.
Possibly with like a samurai sword.
Amazing. Yeah, you can't let a MMA guy get too close to you. That's how you lose.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you could maintain that distance with a flamethrower, you would take him for sure.
All right.
Well, Richard acts as the flame, and he throws himself at people. So
Yeah, I guess you can call me a flamethrower.
What do you think about that cleaver knife, Trevor? It's too big.
no, I liked it at first, but then after I had it, I was just like, it's kind of. I noticed that all the girls like it. They're like, oh, that's cute. It's a mini cleaver.
Yeah.
It's a real chick magnet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Married man over here, you know what I mean?
Get a
Oh, I
Google
know.
voice number.
I'm trying to. I don't know why I can't seem to connect. Have you ever connected your phone speaker to a Bluetooth for phone calls?
I know you're not asking me, right?
You know he's Mexican.
I'm asking whoever
Yeah,
knows.
no.
Calls on other devices. Near Richards. Allow calls on MacBook Pro. Call on other devices. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out, man.
You should go
I'm not
straight.
used to how to use an iPhone 4.
I've got the prototype iPhone. See,
So, Grace had a cool question about what state you guys would live in.
yeah, well, yeah. What state would you live in, Mark?
I don't know. Cole and I talk about that all the time.
You're in California now.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably just go east, stay in California, stay an hour away from the beach. I'm far enough away from everyone reception.
What about internet?
They're essentially the same thing.
What you gonna do about internet?
What do you mean about internet?
If you have no cell service, how you gonna get internet?
I mean, I'm not even like stuck on no cell reception. It like depends where you are. But like, I don't really care. I mean, I don't know. You can check your email here and there, whatever.
But what about the gram,
I have
bro?
mine. Yeah, I mean that's the whole point, right? Why would you guys talk about leaving the state if you're not trying to leave that grand life? You know?
I know, that's the hard part.
Saying raise a family. But anyway, that was what I was going to ask you. What do you guys think, like without the obvious, you know, high taxes, whatever, about California, specifically about like the people, you know what I mean, the culture? This like, not just like, I mean Los Angeles, but Los Angeles is kind of specific. But I would say just in general, the like Southern California culture.
There's things that I love about California because it's a melting pot of people that come and, you know, I guess, you know, some people have had the argument, like when I travel out of state and they complain about racism and all those things, they're like, well, it doesn't count for you because you live in California and that's, you know, everybody from all over the world comes there and you have different people, but when you live in some state that's a majority one person, then it's you know, but I mean, I don't know if I believe that, but.
That's funny because that's, I don't know if you consider this the same thing, but I remember talking to Ann Coulter when she came down to the Palm State.
Yeah. She's tall.
Yeah, she's cool, man. If you ever get a chance to talk to her, talk to her. But she said that I was telling her that yeah, it sucks being in California, being conservative. No one around here is conservative. And she said, no, you guys are great because she goes to other states and stuff. And she's like, look, man, the left, this, that, and the other. And they're like, what's the problem? Oh, there's no problem. And people in California aren't like that. The conservatives in California are like, we got to do something. So that was a kind of a cool perspective, you know?
I'm a little confused. What do you mean?
Like you were saying, in California, it's different for like diversity and stuff.
Yeah.
It's also different to be a conservative in California. Like she was saying, it's cool to be a conservative when no one else is conservative because you care. And like other people in other states that just grow up conservative, they don't know any different.
They take it for granted.
What the left is doing, they don't care to like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's true that like my buddy lives in Idaho, and he says that a lot of the Californian conservatives that are coming out there because they're sick of everything out here are pretty based and a lot more gung ho, and not and like you know like they're kind of like you know the redcoats are coming, They're well aware of how it can change. So while everyone else is kind of like, welcome to Idaho.
Yeah, I mean, I would say probably like I don't know what the percentage is, but not all Californians are like that. Most quote California conservatives are very pro-choice, for example. You know what I mean?
I had this guy because I posted, you know, made by Jim Bob, but made by Jim Bob. He posted this cartoon saying, "Your body, my choice," with a vaccine with Bill Gates holding the vaccine, and some guy posted, "Ha ha ha! I find it funny when conservatives are now vouching for your choice over your body."
Pro-choice.
Like he was comparing it, and I'm like thinking, like, how do you even compare murdering an unborn child to not wanting the government to force you to stick a needle in you and inject you?
That's what I mean. Like, I think this is kind of what this whole conversation's about. Like, just to get away from this, like, you know what I mean? Anyone like argue about the moralities of abortion or. You know what I mean? How do you want to like talk to somebody about like, you know what I mean?
Most people, I think, are just committed to misunderstanding, and it's not like they're not trying to have a conversation to discover ideas and you know together. It's more of
especially on the topic of abortion.
I'm right, you're wrong, you know. And I used to think that way, and I think subconsciously it was because it was an easy way out. Like, oh, if I don't use a condom and I get a girl pregnant, she can have an abortion. Of course, I support it. And then you could, you know, have it be disguised that it's like you're vouching for her and that you care about her. But it's like at the end of the day, you're just really murdering a person's, you know, ending a life of a person, especially after you make friends and meet people who were adopted and that could have been aborted, and how appreciative they are that they weren't, you know?
I knew Mark was hot, says Joseph.
You guys can't tell who that is?
Which one? Was he in the group of those three guys, the MMA dudes who came, Jesse?
No. conversation. Maybe at the end we'll reveal.
Is that not his
true
real?
identity.
Is that not his real name?
It's really Mark in disguise.
No.
Oh. What if that's his wife with the alias name?
Can we move that? Could you guys hear Mark? Because if we don't need to be having him close to us.
As long as you guys can
from
hear
over
him.
there.
Can we? I'm
Yeah.
putting him right here by the phone. Can you guys hear? Can you hear Mark?
Mark, could you hear us?
I can hear you, yes.
Well, then
Alright.
there it is. We're in the
Perfect.
game now.
Bam. You guys are a legit show, taking calls, doing extra hours,
I know.
super chats, boom, bam, pow.
Well, it's good because if we didn't stay this long, we wouldn't have figured this out, I guess.
It is a chick. I knew it.
But if we can figure out a way to get other people to call too, like how would we do that so that without revealing your? Is there an email that how people can call from like Facebook Messenger or some kind of
So you don't
thing so
see
that you're
them?
not giving your number out?
I think Adriana said you guys should get an 800 number. You guys can
I
just
think
post it.
Victoria put in the chat. There's a Google number you can get. May or may not be free, where it reroutes it to whatever number you want. So I can tie it to my phone without giving away my number.
I think those free numbers though, the quality of them are very bad because my sister at one point lost her phone and she had to get a
too
fake
damn
number.
loud. I'll put it
I
over
agree.
here.
Richard should definitely give out his personal cell phone number on the internet.
Hell yeah! I'm gonna give my number out. So Joseph is a woman. I knew it. My money is on Mrs. Hidalgo. I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there.
That was Richard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Amazing. See, what a hell of an alias, Joseph Baudichan.
No, it's her brother's account.
That makes sense.
And her brother actually is like a really good black belt jiu-jitsu.
And they're Oregon based, right? Which is why they would know Eugene.
Yeah, she's from Eugene.
Oh, so yeah, I was just there, dude. It's pretty cool. It's a nice little town.
Yeah, Eugene is really cool, man. If you like clean air and clean water and
I hate
all
that.
I mean,
Yeah, if you like constitutional freedom.
I'm not sure exactly how they are. I know that they're definitely better than California, but that doesn't say much.
They got Cabela's. That's already a plus. That place is like a toy store.
We got a Bass Pro Shop though off the 15. We have one of them.
Where's the nearest Bass Pro? Like in Rancho Cucamonga?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's too far.
La Cucamonga, Rancho Cucamonga, running up and down the wall.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, man.
No problem,
Thanks for
dude.
calling. You're our first call.
So,
Man, my first caller.
thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mrs. Hidalgo.
See you guys.
And
Awesome
don't
show.
forget to back off. So yeah, now if you guys have any solutions to be able to get people to call.
I got.
I remember like AOL Instant Messenger. Remember that? You could just call in there and do a voice chat.
We're calling someone right now. Let's see if she picks up.
Who
She
you
tried calling us earlier, but Mark was in line.
Was it Grace?
Yeah. Let's see if she's still in the chat. There she is.
Hi guys.
All right, you don't have to put your face up there because I'm just having it on by the phone.
I don't know if they can
but
hear
I
it though.
don't
She's
have
super
anything
low.
important to say.
Well, you're on now. It's too late.
Put it up there. Yeah.
It's too late now. You're on. What's up, Grace? Sorry, you're FaceTiming from all the way over there. I was gonna have you.
You're on now. It's too late. It's too late now.
So what's up, Grace?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, we can hear ourselves through your phone.
I just paused it. Don't trip.
So what's good?
I mean, I love this whole setup thing you guys have going on.
Oh, thanks. Just at the house chilling. Had to have the keys. But who knows? We're just trying to have fun, trying to be figure out a way to be social with people, because we can't.
Yeah,
we're not
this is
allowed to go out and hang out with people.
No, I think this is great. It's like uniting us, keeping us still in contact with one another in a fun way.
So what is your answer to your questions? What state would you raise your kids in?
I mean, I definitely would love to stay in California if possible, but obviously it's so expensive, especially
yeah.
if you want land. But so yeah, I mean, I'm open. I'm open to wherever my husband would want to go.
Anywhere, huh? So what if you wanted to go
Get a
to?
husband.
Alaska?
No, I wouldn't want to.
I'd be open to anywhere my husband wants to go,
My aunt lives
except.
in. My aunt lives in Alaska, and they say she really likes it there. Anchorage.
Yeah, how do you know what you like? Do you believe that women don't know what they want?
But you said you'd go to Idaho, and you've never been there.
I don't need to know that I would like to go to Idaho.
I know what Richard's saying because I feel like that about certain places. Like I feel like North Carolina would be beautiful, but I have never been there. You know, so
So, do you think that you don't know what you want as a woman?
we don't know what we want. No, absolutely, we don't know.
Okay. So it's possible you could like Alaska.
I just hear a lot of weird things going on over there.
What weird
there's
things?
no
Abdominal
laws.
snowman.
Like there's no laws and like people are just weird.
They're just weird people.
I mean, I think the most obvious thing would be just the weather, that you'd have to be in the snow all the time, and then like sun, you know, it's like dark half the year or whatever it is. I don't know.
What is that noise?
Oh, you could probably hear the computer. Does it sound like a hum?
It's like a twinkle and then there's like
Oh, that's just my eyes. That's just a twinkle in my eyes.
no, I don't know. I'm hearing like a broadcast. This is weird.
Trippy. Oh, maybe it's feedback?
I'm scared, guys.
Are you just hearing things?
It's the aliens. What are people saying in the chat? We got to be more inclusive
Oh
here.
yeah, so it stays dark in the daytime. Good night, people. Good night, Daniel. Have a good time at Huntington Beach. In the winter, yes, cold and no wind, chill, because that's fake. That's the sound of wisdom, Grace, says Mark. So he's on your side. It's the crackling fire in the background. A lot of people hiding from Johnny Law in Alaska. Well, that could be the weird ones because people go to Alaska to get lost and not be found. Maybe there's a lot of criminals out there.
Maybe that's what I heard. Yeah.
SOPC's asking who's on the phone. That's Grace. Her name is Grace, and she's an amazing, amazing nurse.
She's a hot nurse. She's a hottie.
Yeah, she's one of those. Hello, nurse.
Oh my goodness. What is going on?
Yeah, you'll be all right, Grace. Wherever your husband takes you, you'll be fine.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope.
So, what about getting married? A production of a wedding. What kind of wedding do you think you want?
I mean, I was for sure. I feel like I'm open to whatever. But it just seems like you only get married once in your life, so it would be nice to have like a wedding where with all like without the people you love, you know, around.
I know some women who've been married multiple times.
True.
I feel like the bigger the wedding, the harder the fall.
Yeah, like you almost like the more money you spend on the wedding, it's like the higher your odds of divorce.
I mean, I for sure have seen like people spend a lot of money on their weddings and like get divorced a year or two later. So I wouldn't say that's not true. But yeah, I mean, if you could afford it, if you have the money, why not have like at least a little ceremony?
Yeah, and you got to celebrate the joining of two people.
Yeah,
was
I
just
think
asking.
I would like a live band at my wedding. You know, some music.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I don't know about 40 grand worth of stuff.
For sure.
Well, I like
But
to
mean,
perform at
that's like
weddings
the
because the
minimum.
cost of everything goes up in a wedding. If they're having a wedding, that means price just went up.
So if you want Trevor for your wedding, he's gonna charge you about 3 times the going rate.
Yeah, I mean, well, it depends on who it is, and it depends on how long, and but it's definitely a case by case situation. If it's somebody that's random that I don't know and they just want me to sing at their wedding, yeah.
So the very same thing you're complaining about, prices being drawn up during weddings, you would do the same?
As long as he's getting that money.
Yeah, it's business, my business.
Would you spend more on the wedding, Grace, or the honeymoon? Someone in the chat has a good little statement on that.
Okay. that's a very interesting question, actually. I just hope that I don't encounter that issue, but I think that's a tough question. I I would spend more money on the wedding because obviously it would have to be, you want it to be nice.
Well, isn't it tradition that the wife's father
Hell
funds
yeah.
the wedding?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a dowry. That's what they call it, where the wife's father brings, he pays for the wedding.
That's why I'm having a son.
So Grace, do you think that men have privilege over women?
I do.
Really? Amazing. What?
Yeah, help me understand what male privilege is.
Yeah, what is male privilege?
Because I only have one orgasm.
Okay. I would say that male privilege in the sense that you guys are like automatically closer to God, but then like also women can do that too. We can get close to God once we forget, but just that one little privilege.
Okay, well that's a nice. I agree with that. I mean, guys could be a little more naturally peaceful and more in tune, less ego.
Well, I think emotions kind of play in there, and that there'd be more suffering if you're emotional. But I meet a lot of women that are, stuck on it and think that emotions are like, I think that a lot of women will misconstrue what emotions are and their intuition, that they get thoughts and feelings about a lot of things, and they think it's the intuitive gut telling them something when it's really deviating them further away. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Like I grew up
women-
in a family with my mom and my sister that were that way, and so I felt that for a long time because I thought and acted that way from having that imposed onto me, and then I had to grow out of it, and I realized that I was suffering thinking that, and it was an ego thing because I thought that I had some secret power, or that I was better than people. It's weird.
You thought you were better than people because you lived with women?
No, subconsciously, because I had that same thing where I was in my imagination and I judged things and had all these supposed like knowings of certain things. I mistaked with those feelings and thoughts of emotion for intuitive knowing. And so I kind of thought that I was better than, on a subconscious level, than other people because I could see into things. But then I realized that it was a lie.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, we could all go through that, women and men, but I feel like women were more subject to it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, there's something about, like, maybe it's just our essence, like, it's just easier for Satan to get to us, for sure.
But it's interesting because I notice, like, in the world, right, that's a spiritual kind of thing, privilege. But in the world, I notice, like, if you're a woman and you're hot, you have access to a lot more things in the world. Like, a lot of people won't, a lot of people will take your side.
It'll just be a hell of a lot nicer to you.
Yeah, there's and I think that it's also just a sense of beauty. There's beauty privilege or green privilege of people that have money. Like, didn't he tell me? Richard told me a story about this celebrity. Stacey Dash came in when he worked as a nurse, right?
No,
And-
I was a intern at the hospital.
Nurse.
I was a nurse. I was an intern at a hospital, and Stacey Dash from Clueless, that hot mixed girl was there, and I had no idea it was her. I just remember being told by the staff to treat her extra nice.
Treat her extra nice because she's a celebrity. So there's like, I feel like there is like layers of quote privilege. That's it's like beauty, money, and status and fame. That's where the real privilege is.
I told her that she was beautiful, and that has anyone ever told you look like Stacey Dash? And she just laughed. And only after, when I looked at her meal tray and I saw her ticket, I was like, holy crap, that is Stacey Dash.
Okay, don't say why she was there.
I'm not gonna say, it's a confidential
Okay.
HIPAA violations.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like dying over here.
Yeah, Stacey Dash is gorgeous. She looked hot with a fever.
But I will say, I mean, I definitely do understand that women have, like, you know, we have our little privileges, whatever the case.
Multiple orgasms.
Oh my goodness, I can't talk about this stuff with you guys. It's too much.
Grace, you asked the question last time about, I think it was you, about marrying someone who's mixed, or do they have to be like you? Would you marry someone who's completely different than you culturally, racially, whatever? Do you think that would work? Yes or no?
I think there's like it brings about issues. It brings about like it could become a problem, just because of families, of like, you know, just the way you guys see the world, the way you guys grew up. Like it could be different, culturally different. But I feel like you can overcome it. You know, if you're just like if you don't hate anyone and you don't judge them, you don't try to change them, and you just accept them for who they are.
I think beyond it being like an ethnicity, you know, skin color or anything like that, it's more of a culture thing, because like one of the things about America that I'm hopeful for is that when people start identifying as Americans and embracing American culture, that it doesn't matter what you are, because it's just a matter of commonality, you know, like, you know, you sound like me, we have a lot in common culturally, but when two people come together who have completely different cultures, they gotta like adapt to different cultures, and I feel like that makes it more difficult. I'm not a huge fan of culture, being prideful of culture that much. I think it divides more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, someone in the chat is saying, cringe, y'all be on this type stuff, 3 people, 30 plus.
That's just Dane. He's just a little kid.
What do you say?
He's like, this is cringe type stuff. 3 people, 30 plus year not married, talking about this mess.
Oh.
Okay.
Says the non-married, the unmarried, unemployed.
Well, that's all right. I mean, you can say that.
I know, you're free to say it, Dane. It's okay. I don't hate you for it.
I know. I was just like, I was reading it and I was like, what's going on? But anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about, I forgot.
I'd rather be single and free and see, you know, and not. I think a lot of people get married based off those emotions, because they think, oh, I don't want to be this old. I don't want to, you know, and then they get into the wrong situation. I'd rather be in no situation than be in the wrong situation. And I'm definitely not going to listen to what somebody has to say who's in the wrong situation and did it wrong, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
better
for
to
me,
be single than in a terrible marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought like just having like different like beliefs, because we talked about having like different racial, right? Different races, but then having different belief systems, I think that could be more tricky. Like if you're with someone that doesn't see the world as you do, as far as like spiritually, you know, then how would they be able to lead you if they're blind and they can't see?
Yeah, a lot of
So-
people get married for looks and status, but they don't remember to check for the values.
Yeah, and that would be something more difficult to overcome than race, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't have to be married to know that, because I mean, I've dated all kind of people, and so I know that, you know, it's like.
Jesus wasn't married, and he can talk about relationships, and you know, you don't have to be married or have kids to be able to know the truth about what's right and what's wrong about those things.
But I will say one thing. Women, we do look up to you guys as far as like to lead the way and to do things right. And like sometimes sometimes men don't do that. I mean, sometimes you guys like go astray. So it's hard for us to like really take you serious and like truly put our trust in you when you're not doing the right thing. So we're always watching. So
Yeah.
just letting
We're
you know.
always watching.
Yeah, they're watching you. Yeah, I mean, but also, I don't know, I feel like women also can drive themselves nuts. Even if you are doing the right thing, doesn't mean they're not going to have an opinion about you doing the right thing and still try to make something out of nothing.
You know, it's weird, interesting. I thought popped in my head is that I've experienced in like dating women than when I want to be right and do things right. Like I wouldn't want to have sex or make it a sexual thing and get to know them. And once I declare that, it becomes a challenge for them to try to seduce me more. And it's like they want me to break that. You know, it's like it's weird. Like anytime I've ever declared that, and so maybe the problem is declaring it, but it's like, you know, you want something you can't have, and I noticed that the girls that I wouldn't, you know, they know that I want to wait, or that, you know, at least I intend to, and they seduce me, and then it's almost like Satan would like seduce you, and then he gets your written permission, and then you know you do it. But I guess that's where the power and the willfulness comes in, and be able to say no, just like the drugs or anything, to be able to say no even though the temptation is there. But I just do notice that, like, if a guy like totally wants to get with a girl and he's obvious about it and he wants to hook up with her, she's gonna play hard to get and act like she doesn't want it. But as soon as he says, "Oh, I'm not doing any of that stuff," then it flips around, and it's at the end of the day, it's like a cat and mouse thing, no matter which way.
Yeah, like why do women, if a guy does hold out, and it's obvious there's interest, but if he's being good about it, she always, in my experience, 100% of the time will make the move and try to break him like it's some kind of challenge. Like, well, I'm going to show him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, that's the key. That's the devil working in our head. So you guys have to remain strong,
Yeah.
no matter what the outcome is. No matter if
It's hard, and it's extra hard when she's got that booty.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Sounds like a personal problem.
I guess.
Possibly.
Perhaps. Or maybe it's just a symmetry problem, you know? I'm a fan of the golden ratio.
Yeah, but women will test you, and then they go nuts if you give in even a little bit. They just, I don't know, why do you have such a hard time with that stuff as a woman, Grace? Why do you think women have a hard time with intimacy before it's time?
Hard time as in following.
In their head, they get into their head. If you give in to them, even though they're the ones who make the first move, what makes them go nuts?
It's the fact that you were weak. So at that point, like, we have that judgment, you know?
Well, I noticed, like, I dated somebody that, you know, I was having sex and hooking up and all that stuff. And as soon as I stopped, she got very insecure and thought that I didn't like her because of those things. Do you think that a lot of, you know, as a woman, like, if a guy, it's like, you know, the friend zone thing. Like, if you're not doing those things sexually, do you get in your head and wonder, oh, does he like me? Does he think I'm attractive? Like, do you think that there's something ingrained in women that makes them want to be an object to the man in some kind of aspect?
Yeah, so I think it just makes us feel rejected. You know, like it's an ego thing. It's like,
Yeah.
I guess nowadays women were conditioned to feel sometimes that like that equals love, you know? So
Yeah.
we don't know,
Butterfly says,
we don't know what real love is. So, you know, it's just like, it's a whole thing where, I mean, as long as you do as you say, like, you know, with actions, and you don't like break and give in, then at some point we will see it in 50 years.
Yeah. What'd she
And
say?
then we'll
Queen
come out.
Butterfly?
Queen Butterfly says that women think the guy's gonna run. Maybe that's why she acts nuts.
Oh, that they think, well, I better get him with the sex, or else he's gonna run off and find someone else. Is that what she's saying?
Maybe. Is that what you're saying, Queen Butterfly? If you were dating a woman, says Joseph, and she told you she didn't want to sleep with you, would you be in your head at all?
I wouldn't be in my head. I would just, yeah, it's weird because it's like you want to know that they're interested in you, you know. But because I think if a woman told me they didn't want to sleep with me, I picture that as being more like the women I've encountered that were like that. they would say that because they wanted me to chase them and try to get to them. So it's weird. It's a case by case thing, I guess. Like, is she telling me that she's just not interested? I don't bank with Chase, so I don't like to, play games and all that stuff. But
Yeah, I wouldn't be in my head. I mean, you shouldn't be sleeping together before marriage, anyways.
yeah, it's not always easy. But
Not easy at all. If she says it, but she wants to wait because she wants to wait for marriage. She clarified.
oh, okay, then
But yeah, that's the way it should be. She should want that.
yeah.
But of course, I don't believe she's not going to test you, right, Grace?
Yeah.
Because women are nuts. They say they want one thing, but then they go ahead and try to break you down.
Ay, ay,
Ay, ay, ay. But it's
ay.
okay.
Anyway,
That's what we have to learn. Well, thank you,
Yes.
Grace, for calling in.
you're welcome. Alright, guys.
Yeah, thank you for being vulnerable and opening up for us.
Oh my god, this was like really intense.
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm like nervous.
Don't worry about it.
That's all good. Well, thank you, Grace.
Thank you, Gracie.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Have a good one.
All right. That was interesting. It's late. The single lonely be talking about this tight mess. Rest in peace for my bound brothers and sisters. Adriana, do you ever consider the idea of never being in a relationship and staying single? Every day. But it's not like you dwell on it or you're always thinking about it, but you should be okay with either result. You're okay with you end up married, you're okay if you end up single and with perfect peace.
Yeah. I just want to be mindful of myself and like why it is that I feel like I want certain things, because I know subconsciously I could want something because I'm running from something, and the more I can overcome things on my own, the more I know that when I'm with somebody, they're going to be an addition to my life as opposed to a replacement of some sort of thing that I'm not dealing with, or like like a candy bar that I'm like,
She shouldn't be filling a void. There should
Yeah,
be no
exactly.
void to fill. She's just another addition. But if she's filling a void in the man, then the man's got problems. Dane says it's easy to trigger the female. Just playing. It's easy to trigger a female-minded man as well.
yeah. And I mean, same thing.
Yeah. If you're emotional, period, it's easy to get triggered.
Yeah. That's why it's good to not hold on to any words or anything. If you're like constantly living right now in the moment, you can't be triggered, because what's said is said and it's gone and doesn't exist anymore. And so it only hurts, or you only get offended when you carry it into right now and now and now and now in the future.
Reprobata says the food is better when you're married. I bet it is, bro. All my married friends, their wives make some real good food. I mean,
That's another thing though.
I mean, who wouldn't want to come home to a home-cooked meal? That is obviously definitely a perk of marriage. If she can cook, and if she's not going to be a feminist and say that she's above that. Adriana says, I cook bomb. I bet you do. Mark, true story. True story. That's it. Queen Butterfly. If you find me on Instagram, you can Instagram call me, and that's how we can do it through this for now. Queen Butterfly at RUXBIN_. Koba is in the chat. Koba. Spam and frozen dinners. Yeah, that'd be terrible. You guys are essential YouTube workers for this virus season. Thank you, Reprobata. You guys are essential friends. Koba says, Trevor, a single man that lives his life for God has superhuman powers. And Dave Guitar Man Davey Guitar Man wants to thank you. He's glad he found this channel. He's late, but glad to be here.
I appreciate you coming by.
Thank you, Davey. It's just fun hanging out with you guys. Let's see if I missed anything else.
I like the idea of having people call in and talking to them, and that way it kind of brings an incentive for people to want to be included on the conversation beyond the screen, and even overcome the fear of public speaking or being vulnerable and sharing what you think. And you know, I think that's the key. And I perform, so it's no big deal for me. And you know, I sing on stages and all that kind of thing. But I know even as an artist, though, some people, they can perform and you know, display their talents on stage, but at the same time being transparent in who you are is another thing. And so I find it to be a good exercise, I guess, to have the camera on. You know, there's something about being observed and being able to be yourself and really allow, you know, just be aware that even though you're being observed by other people, that it's not going to define who I am and who I'm being. And being able to just maintain consistency in who I am is the key. And I feel like it creates a fun dynamic, because I know not all people are used to doing that. Like I don't know if you were before hopping on here, but you notice that it's fun.
I like it. It's just nice to, like he says it, like giving a speech and communication class or having to get in front of a crowd kind of wakes you up.
Yeah.
In a different way.
Like I realize that when I wake up in the morning and I get ready and I jump on the live, all of a sudden I'm like, it makes me more alert and conscious of certain things because I'm being observed. It's weird.
Queen Butterfly, we talked about this last time, but she wants to know, what do you think of interracial relationships? About swirling, as they say.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about swirling?
It's weird because I find myself being attracted to physically different flavors of ice cream, if you will.
You know,
I like
get your Rocky Road.
Exotic flavors, you know. So it really, for me, it's like it just comes down to the culture of it. Are we gonna have commonalities? You know, it's like I don't want to say what I won't do or you know what I'm not or anything like that. But at the same time, I don't think I would veer off so far that I would, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, there's beautiful women in all kinds of colors and flavors, but
yeah.
What makes the best wife and match is it comes down to your values and your spirit in the end, really. You know, I think the culture thing can matter when it comes to being a mixed kid, and you have two very different cultures.
Yeah.
You feel like neither one or the other. You're not 100% one or the other. That's where there's some conflict. I think it's best if she has the same values and ideally a very, very, very similar culture and background, so that way the kid doesn't feel split between one camp and the other.
Yeah, that is true, because growing up, you can't deviate from that. That people are going to categorize and put you in box and wonder what you are. And if you're in school or, you know, growing up as a kid in groups of people and stuff, people are going to kind of look at you kind of funny, or you're going to start to think, you know, where do I belong? And I can't vouch to say that I've experienced that, but that's from being open and talking to friends and other people and asking them what it's like. And the question I've asked people is do you notice it hard or a sense of feeling like you don't know where you belong? And most of the time I've heard that it is.
Heck yeah, 100%. I'm mixed, two different cultures, two different families, dad and mom, and it was weird. You can sense the awkwardness, and you have to you end up having like almost like you play two characters. I played one version of myself with my mom's side of the family, and I felt like I played a different version with my dad's side. And then you gotta pick one. Sometimes society makes you choose one, because obviously being white wasn't cool growing up, or at least it became uncool. So you start to, you know, identify with whatever is trending. You know, it could be weird. Smitty says if you honor your parents and love thyself, you won't go swirling and subject the kid to something like that. I agree. I think you would pick someone who looks like the image of your mom and dad, in the sense that it's similar. It's very, very, very similar. You know, not that you're gonna date your mother, but they should kind of look like them. Ideally.
I wouldn't go as far as to say I need somebody that looks like my mom.
Yeah, not a clone,
Yeah.
but culturally,
I wouldn't do that.
you know.
But I would, because the interesting thing is it asks the question, like, if it wasn't for sex, would men and women be so engaged? Or would they, you know, I feel like that, in a sense, it brings people together. So there has to be that sort of attraction there to bring you together. Because I feel like there's that lustful, you know, sexual attraction that makes you procreate and have babies and have a family and all that stuff. But then there's also that spiritual connection of you know, morality and right and wrong and what are your values and how do you connect spiritually, you know. And so those are two separate kind of things. But hopefully you get someone that, I hope to find somebody that will be a marriage thing of you know, the spirit and the physical. Because I'm not gonna lie, I want to be attracted to my wife. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be repulsed by my wife, a lady, you know. I know the feeling of having somebody where they're just your friend, and in a sense of like, you know, you just want to hang out with them. You want to do things together. It's not about like, oh, I just can't wait to hook up with her, you know. Because I've had both of those, and I know one of them is just a selfish thing because it's just like, you know, you're getting pleasure out of it. And the other one is just more of a warm, like loving, like, you know, just you're sharing the appreciation of one another, their company, and that, you know, 200% come together and make 200% to be stronger together. And maybe, you know, she'll be good at these things and I'll be good at these things, and we can come together and be more powerful together to create the family and everything like that. But I understand the man should lead in the sense of being able to recognize and see that, so that he can, you know, lead that to where it should be. Like, oh, you're good at this and I'm good at that. Well, how about, you know, you take care of this and I'll take care of this, and being able to control that, but from a place of love and not from a place of control. You know, does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. Schmitty says it causes confusion in a child. Maybe not all, but most children. But Grace says you can't help who you fall in love with. I don't agree, Grace. First of all, I don't think you should be falling in love. I don't know. I wouldn't put it that way anymore. You're not trying to fall in love. You're trying to follow the right lead. Like a dance, you want the best partner for your life. So a woman should look for the best leader. If that makes sense. When you fall in love, you fall in love. Color doesn't matter. It does, though. In a lot of cases, it does. It does affect how you grow up.
What are some examples, maybe, to help me understand and help anybody else understand?
The cultural thing, like I had...
Because we know the kid thing, that makes sense.
I had a buddy who I grew up with, and he was mixed black and white. But he had black features, real light skin, but obvious black features. So he had to identify as black. Well, he felt he had to identify as black. Almost to the point where he wouldn't even embrace his white side. Like, they just kind of act like they're not white at all.
But see, that's what's weird about that is if there's white privilege, then wouldn't you want to embrace the whiteness so you can have some privilege?
Exactly.
That's what hangs me up on it. It's like, if anybody I've ever known has black and white, they're going to claim the black side. But why is that? If it's such a burden and if there's so much privilege on the white side. It's interesting.
Yeah, great. I don't believe in falling in love, Grace. Not the way that a woman would, you know, because that's all feelings. You feel like you're falling in love, and it's not the right way. There should be no feeling about it.
But I feel as though I gotta pee.
Isaiah Stewart is in the chat. If you bring someone home that ain't the color of your daddy, it's shameful. I mean, that's harsh, Isaiah, but I would say, yeah, in a way. It's just tough, man. If you're not mixed and you didn't grow up mixed, with your immediate parents being very obvious colors and cultures, you don't understand. It's easy to say it, but it's not the most pleasant ride. I always just say I'm mixed. No need to pick a side. That's good. I'm mixed too. I'm American. That's what I say. All human easy have sex. Very few human experience true love. That's right, Koba. I believe in falling in love falling in love entails doing it out of God's order, that's not love. Then no, that's not love. So marriage is a contract. Hell yeah, marriage is a contract. Till death do you part. It's okay to love your people, ancestors. Oh, I think we got a call. Oh, it's Dane. What's up, Dane?
Yo,
What's going on, buddy? Hold on. I would say the other extreme. Let me throw you up here on the chair so the camera can pick you
yeah,
up.
I don't know if I'm echoing or not.
Well, you're
I
gonna
got
have to.
like my laptop and then I got my phone.
You gotta turn your laptop down. But
I'm gonna turn the audio.
Trevor should be out in a moment. So Dane, you're mixed, but you're also wait. Where's your mom from?
My mom is Mexican, right?
And your dad is from where? Where's your dad from?
My dad's Croatian.
Croatian. But
Like-
where was he raised? Where was he raised?
He was raised in Peru.
Okay, so culturally, would you say that your dad is Latin or Latino?
I think he's like a half and half culture-wise because my dad was raised in a Croatian colony. So like, I don't know if my grandfather was like a freaking Nazi or something, but like after the Second World War, my grandfather, along with like all the other guys that were on Hitler's side, immigrated to South America, and which was one of them was Peru and Argentina was famous, and Chile and stuff. So my dad was raised around like all the other Croatians, like they had like their own little colony, I guess, you know.
Okay, well, but he definitely had Latin culture as part of his upbringing. You'd say, right?
Oh yeah, like for sure, like probably like half, I would say. Like if I were to guess, like half.
And he's been in Peru his whole life, pretty much.
No, like half of his life he moved to the United States. I think when he like was 30, and he's like 60 now, and he's only been in Peru like back here for like 3 or 4 years. So he went to the United States, and then he met my mom, and then he had me and stuff like that. Got married and had me.
So do you what do you think? Do you think a kid doesn't experience trauma or confusion being mixed with two obviously different parents and cultures?
Man, I gotta look for the comment, but yeah, like I wasn't gonna call, but this guy wanted me to explain, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna write an essay on the chat. I'd rather just call in and like.
Did you hear about?
position or whatever?
Did you hear about the teacher that told her whole class to write an essay and it's due by Friday?
No, to do an essay.
To do an essay, I ruined the joke.
Essay is Corona time. Yeah.
The whole class came back pregnant.
Man, I'm trying to find it. But yeah, so when was it? Just like give me 1 second.
Well, children experience
Okay, so-
confusion. Do you agree with that or no?
No, I don't think so, because then how are all the other races created? Because if you were to take it, like, I don't want to get like all biblical and be like, oh, this scripture right here says blah blah blah. But like, if you were to just look at it like historically wise with the Bible, there was only like 3 races after the flood, right?
Well,
Because
no,
all
no,
races
but we're
came from-
talking about like present day being mixed today. How does that
Right.
cause confusion or trauma?
No, I don't think so. Like if I were just gonna be like yes or no, I don't think so. I think it just like it depends on how the kid was raised. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like a nature versus nurture, whatever kind of question. So
I think it depends too, in the sense of, like, outwardly, you know, like people that look like, what the heck, you know, like they look so different that they look. It looks like you wonder what they are. Like I've noticed, like, cause you know, playfully and lightheartedly, I would ask people like wow, like what are you mixed with, like, you know, and I could tell some people would be annoyed at that question or that they heard it all the time, like, you know, and I don't know, like I got family that is mixed, and I remember having that conversation with her and asking her about it, and she said that she agreed that she didn't know where she belonged growing up. So I guess, you know, it depends on what outwardly people see, and you know, 'cause some people could be mixed, but that you couldn't tell because you know, they assume you're something. But you know, the people that
Yeah.
you can't put in a box, they're, you know, because like you said, I had a friend too that was half black and half white, black features and white skin, and you know, but he also saw it as like when I'm with the white people, they take me as white. When I'm with the black people, they take me as black. So he saw it as like I got the best of both worlds.
Yeah. That's just like environment, though. I think like environment and culture. You know what I mean? 'Cause,
But
like,
isn't that what can cause trauma and confusion though? Because you can't, your kid's going to be out in the world, so therefore the world is going to want to box him in. So wouldn't that cause trauma and confusion being mixed?
yeah, but the world doesn't define a person. What that person values and their morals defines that person. So like if that person was raised with good parents and they were raised correctly or whatever, even if they were in an environment like that, they would know in their head intuitively, oh, they they don't worry about that. Oh, whatever, I don't care if that guy's saying this or doing that, and you know what I mean?
Right, with perfect parents. But if you're not, with most people, they're not perfect, right? So there would be trauma.
I think something pretty good parents, you know. Nobody's perfect, so.
You don't think anyone can be perfect?
Other than Jesus, I mean, I don't see it.
Interesting.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm talking to you. Go.
Like if somebody
Carry on.
were to say I'm perfect, it'd be like, to me, in my ears, I hear like, I am Jesus. I am Jesus. I am God. You know, that's what I hear when somebody says, I'm perfect. Like, you know how girls on the internet, because I'm a Zoomer, right? So it's like, you know how girls like on TikTok and like Instagram, they always like have this thing where they record themselves crying and they're like, I'm perfect. He broke my arm. Perfect. You know what I mean? When I see that, I'm just like, oh, that's a mess. Like,
I haven't seen that, but I do believe you can be perfect if you don't have anger and you're not judging anybody. How can you be flawed at that point?
Oh man, I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, aren't we made in the image of our Father, which is perfect in heaven?
Do you mean Father as in like
I mean, as in God.
ultimate Father, or do you mean Father like?
As in God.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if we're made in His image, aren't we made perfectly?
Yeah, when I hear that, I hear weird. When I hear that in my ears, I hear like, you know, like, weren't you made in the image of God? Therefore, you can be your own God.
No, but,
you know
but that's not what you hear. Like what I'm saying, aren't you made in His image, which is perfect?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
It says it there in the Bible, so it must be true.
You know what I think of? It makes me think of, if I think I'm not perfect, I'm playing God and judging myself to say that I'm perfect or not, but I don't know the difference, right? So when I don't play God, all of a sudden, I become perfect. It's a weird thing. It's like,
oh man, this is getting too heavy.
but you know what I'm saying though? Like it's like, as long as I'm able to not have anger, right? I'm not emotional and angry. I seek what's right, and I don't judge myself or other people, but I discern. I think that will grow me into more perfection. But when I sit and I think, oh, I'm not perfect, it causes more of suffering, you know.
I agree. You shouldn't judge yourself either way.
You there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like, what's the difference
I was
between?
letting you finish. I think there's a little delay.
What's the
To be
difference
honest.
between somebody who says, "Oh yeah, Richard, he's a good person," and the difference between a person that says, "Oh yeah, Richard, he's not a good person"? Like, there's no difference because they're both judging whether it's good or bad. One sounds good and one sounds bad. So at the end of the day, it's the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know. Like,
That's good. I like to say that too because I don't know.
sometimes you get. Yeah, I think I get a little delay on a thing, but somebody asked how old I was. I'm 22. 22, big one.
He's a young one.
It's so funny. This shirt gives
I'm
me I can see it makes me look like I got a beer belly, but it's really that my pants broke.
Yeah, it does.
My pants broke and they're popping out. But why'd your pants break? Maybe because you got no. But I'm looking at myself. I'm like, geez, say it ain't so. It's not true.
Ye shall know them by their fruits. A lot of kids just want to be normal.
I think there was something else. I kind of forgot, but it had to do with like genetics and like the interracial thingy. I'm trying to find it, but it's like my thing is lagging.
We'll just talk about it.
That's
What
an
was it?
interesting topic. Partly because I'm ethics, and I am searching for the answer myself.
What answer?
I don't know. That's the question.
I think the answer that the searching that everybody's searching for is the meaning of life. And at the end of the day, what's the meaning of life is? Life is empty and meaningless.
Man,
And that we make the meaning. And if we stop making the meaning, then we just exist as observers and enjoy the ride. What do I know?
So Dane, since you're in Peru, explain to the explain to the chat how things are over there with all this Corona lockdown. Any difference? Not that you've seen it here firsthand since you've been there for about a year. Are you free to walk outside?
Yeah. So I've been in Peru for a year. And I've been here for a year, and this quarantine's been going on since probably like, was it like 2 months now? It feels like more than that, but it's probably like a month or two. And it's pretty strict over here, to be honest, man. Like they're not like patrolling the streets with like AK-47.
Can you get arrested for going outside?
Yeah, like they're definitely like strict. Huh?
Can you get arrested for going outside?
Probably. I honestly don't really know, like specifically, but I'm sure there's something like that, or you get fined or something like that. But they're really big with the propaganda. Like there's a lot of propaganda around here. You know what I mean? They're like, listen to Bill Gates, and it's correcto. You know what I mean? Like.
Are you gonna take the shot when they have the vaccine ready?
Man, I hope that doesn't happen. Like, is it to the point where they got like a gun to my head and they have like the needle and they're like, which one's it gonna be, big guy?
Yeah, I don't think it'll get to that point, but who knows? I'm not taking a shot.
Well, then no, yeah. Yeah, if it was like voluntary, like no way. But if they had like a gun in my head and they had the needle in the other hand and they were like, which one is it gonna be, huh? I would be like, I would actually have to think about it for a second.
It's like Braveheart, you know, at the end of that movie or whatever, that he was fighting for freedom, and then at the end they were torturing him and beating him, and he said all you have to do is take my hand, and basically.
I think he said like say mercy or something.
Yeah,
Just
say
give in.
mercy and give in, and it was such a message to everybody else because he died. It's like Jesus, you know, he died.
Defiant.
See, I'm sorry. I think this might be backtracking, but I said an expression where I was like, in my ears, and then somebody was like, he hears Satan. And I was like, that's where it gets weird. It's because it's like we use words and expressions. You know what I mean? It's like if I were to say, oh, I think, and then it's like somebody is going to be like, oh, you shouldn't think. You should use your thoughts, blah, blah, blah. It's like, man, it's so hard to express things with words, you know?
Yeah, I think once you start using words, it already became the world. You know, like words, you can't express what's in your heart. And I agree that words become physical. Like words are like a physical thing. There's sound, there's vibration, and words don't have any meaning. It's just us trying to express it. And it's like, what is that? That's deeper than words, you know? Where it's like, it's something. It's like I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
If I was able to be like psychic in a way, and I was just to convey my expression without the use of words, that would be easier and way better. But we use words and stuff, so it's like that's an expression. Like, oh, in my ears, I something. It's like, oh, he hears Satan. You know what I mean? Oh, he's here Satan. Oh, you know, he's a beta. It's like, oh man.
I think Victoria wants to call.
All right.
Victoria, where you at?
All right, Dane. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Peace.
Be safe. We'll see you stateside as soon as you get to
See you
LA.
later, bro.
You.
Blacktoria, give me a call.
You calling her?
Yeah. Beat her to the punch.
Hello.
Hello.
Seductive voice.
Oh, hold on. Let me mute my TV.
If you don't know who this is, it's Great Solution is everybody's doing it. You credit.
Come on down.
Come on.
Y'all are crazy. I love it.
What's
Oh my
good?
god, dude, the delay on this thing is crazy. Let me mute this thing. Wow.
The
Okay.
delay is crazy, man.
Delay is
No.
crazy.
So wait, what are y'all talking about? I missed like 20 minutes of the whole conversation.
No idea.
Stop.
Yeah, was there something specific that you had in mind?
Not really. I was kind of looking at the screen while I was talking on the phone, and I saw mixed people. I saw the word beta a few times.
Yeah.
And,
What do you think about mixed relationships and dating? Do you think that it creates any kind of issues, whether it be between the two people or the children or what?
Oh man. I would say. Oh man, that's a tough one. Because I've been in that kind of situation before.
So you have experience.
Like we didn't create children, but I always considered what that would be like for them to grow up with, like two different identities and who they would actually identify with. That was a question that I always had in the back of my mind.
That's
like the whole
another-
time we were together.
That's another good point that I didn't think about. Is does it create for the child does it promote them to pick a side? Like I identify with my mom more, or I identify with my dad more, because of the color, the racial difference. I didn't think
Right.
about that.
And it's crazy because looking back, when I think about every person that I dated that was a different race, in all honesty, they always had a problem with their mom, or, whether they were angry at their mom or their mom was too overbearing. Like there was always some kind of issue going on with the mom when I look back, you know what I mean? And that's definitely something that I think a lot of people tend to overlook, because like I said, in our situation with the person that I was with, he was Hispanic. So there was like one half of his family that totally couldn't speak English. And then there's my side that's obviously, Black Americans. So that would have already been an issue because the kid would have to learn Spanish by default to get to know his grandma and his cousins and, everybody that was from his dad's side. And if his dad is supposed to lead, then I have to sacrifice that. And my kids have to immerse themselves in that culture so they will know both sides of their identity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. That's what happened to me. I had to kind of pick one and.
I mean, it makes sense, but I grew up. Some might say it's my privilege, but I grew up, with the parents that were similar. And it's crazy because my sister, right? She was born, and there was some malfunction with the pregnancy, the birth, and she was born with a nerve problem in her face, so she can't smile completely normal like other people. And so growing up, she was always insecure about that. And I mean, she's overcome it now, but she got made fun of for it and all kind of things for that. So I know how mean and crazy, especially kids, can be.
I just burped. Did you guys hear it?
Not at
No,
all.
you just busted yourself.
You just, yeah, you just.
Damn, I told on myself. Okay, sorry. But no, I know what you're saying, and I can sense it because I do have a younger family member that is mixed, and it's interesting because his mother is Latina, and you know, they just run their household a completely different way. And when he comes to hang out with myself and my brother, it's just different. Like, you can tell, for me anyway, it kind of seems like he feels more comfortable because there's people that kind of sort of look like him. You know what I mean? It's because my brother did tell me that, like, my nephew identifies as black, and I didn't have the heart in that moment to be honest with him. I'll be real about that. Like, I didn't want to point out, your kid's not black, he's biracial. So don't put that idea in his head that he's black, because that's not a black kid. He's half Mexican, half black. You know?
I noticed that though. A lot of people claim they have to pick one race that they identify with out of whatever it is that they're mixed in as a majority, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that happens because we kind of breezed over it when I was on there with you guys, and it's like, the thing is, when you are half and half, it's like you're not gonna really fit in completely to either side, because a person that's biracial, that's like mixed with black, you're not gonna be able to walk into a room and say you're white. You can't do it. And then the interesting thing is that in the black culture, though, mixed people are revered. They're actually put on a bit of a pedestal, and you don't really see that unless you're in the black community and you grow up in the black community. So that's a lot of the reason, I think, that they default to the black side, because it's just easier. You know what I mean? There's less
So they have
conversation.
They got a bit of a privilege in the black community when they're mixed.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
And,
what, like, my buddy, like, so I was saying, he could move around in different circles because he had white skin, like really white like me. But then you could tell he was black because he had more black features of, and you just knew. Like, I think his mom's white and his dad's black, but he would always say that it's like he could move around in different circles and be accepted as though, you know, he could drop N-bombs in the black community, and then he could drop, not that it's like that's this huge luxury to do that, I wouldn't care anyways. But but the interesting thing is, like, when you go to jail, if you go to jail, you got to fill out this card that you know, where are you getting put in with? Are you getting put in with the blacks or the whites? So if you're mixed, you got to be extra careful, man. You don't end up.
I told you guys, you got to pick other, no matter what. Like, even if you look black, just pick other. I mean, what do you got to lose? Just say you're other, you know? It's fine. But yeah, it just causes issues. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sure every race has their hang-ups, but it's just when you mix, you do add an extra element of just difficulty and maybe some confusion. Like I said, I don't know because I'm not a mixed person. I can only go by what has been told to me by, you know, friends or you know, just people that I'm familiar with. You can definitely see that there is an identity. I don't want to call it a crisis. I think that's a little too strong, but there's definitely something that is unsettled with those people for a time in their life. You know, it's blatantly obvious. So
For sure.
I can't say if it's right or wrong. I just know that if you were to do it, even for myself, if I can be honest, like, I am starting to question my attraction to other races as well. Like, if I don't know if maybe there is still some residual anger, I guess you would say, or something, or it just could be that I've been attracted to other races for so long, I don't know any other way to think.
Yeah, it could be so many things, you know. It could be a fear thing, fear of loving yourself or what you are, or it could be
or fear of loving someone like that looks like your father.
It could be that.
Relationship.
It could be that, you know, if you're a different race, right? For the majority, I've noticed that if whatever you are not, they kind of boost you up with being extra nice. They say, you know, they walk on eggshells more because they want to make you feel good about yourself. Whatever it is, if black, white, Asian, whatever, they for the most part, people want to show that they are, like, supportive, that they're not racist, that they appreciate your culture, whatever it is, you know. And
Yeah.
so maybe that could play a part in being attracted to other people that are not you, because it's like from your experience or whatever, you know, it could be like, oh, I've only experienced great things from these people, but really they're just afraid of what people think too, and so they're gonna say the best sounding thing to be liked. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you bring up an interesting point because I will say that when I was in those other circles, like if I did date, you know, like say a white guy, for instance, it's you get a different type of attention, or it's hard to explain, but it's like they don't necessarily see the same attributes in you that a black guy would.
Right.
It's because it's to me, I feel like it's more of a novelty. It's like, oh, your
Exactly.
hair is different.
That's
oh,
a
your
great
skin.
word.
Look at the contrast. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
no, exactly.
it's always that stuff. It's the superficial stuff
It's
that
a-
I always noticed.
It
You know, and it's
becomes
like,
it becomes like
okay.
it's more of a fetish than it is an actual real attraction.
Yeah, she said novelty,
Yeah.
and that word is right, because I have dated. It's like when I've dated girls of other races, it became, you know, how do you put it in words? It's like it is like a you know, you go into a theme park and you're like, oh, look at the cool rides. You know, you're like, you get to notice things that are different and that you're not used to, so you feel like you're learning so much about them. But
oh
it's
man.
it is a physical thing, and it's like a temporary. So it's like at the end of the day, you want to think about the long run at the finish line of like, all right, once all that, like, you know, little things that are attracting or different wear off or whatever, who is that inside that's going to be, you know, I guess it just comes down to real love, and do they love God and have values and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's just one of the things that I'm still on the fence about, and I'm pretty sure it'll be revealed to me at some point. But like I said, just looking back, it's like, crap, dude. It is always something physical every single time, and it's like, yeah, you get to know people, okay, fine, but the initial I think the initial attraction really is because it's so different than you. And the real question is, why are you so attracted to something so different? What is it about yourself that you want to turn away from? What is that
Yeah.
about, you know? And, you know, I could go on and on about that forever. But like I said, I will say this because I don't hear a lot of black women say it. We fetishize other races just as much as they fetishize us. So, you
Right.
know, like I said,
Right,
with the
yeah.
hair and the skin thing, like, that's part of the reason I think certain races are attractive. It's like, oh, the skin does actually kind of look cool together. Or, you know, the hair texture, it is different. And it's like, you just want to experience that.
No, I agree.
So, yeah, and I think there's more to that. You know, why
Like-
is it that we want to do that? That's my
Yeah.
ultimate question.
I'm not attracted to girls that are as white as me. You
See,
know what I
and
mean?
that's
I
what
like-
I mean. It's like, what
I
is
like
that?
a girl that has a little tan, but I think that most people in general are more attracted to people with kind of olive skin, like tan skin, whether it be white people, black people, whatever. I don't know. I just think that there's something about that. But I mean, I guess some people like that porcelain white skin.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna go that deep into it. I don't prefer the pale, but
Yeah, most people would. Most people don't, which is why I gotta, you know, step up my game in other areas because I surrender.
You don't like
it's
your men
okay.
see through.
If you're ginger, you're
That's
like
why-
already special. It's fine.
I invest in good lighting, so I can set the lighting right, and you know, a black light, I'll look tan. Set the mood.
I mean, I'm looking at you guys on my TV. You do look a little tan. You know, you guys both look a little copper tone. So it's good. It's good stuff. But yeah, like I said, it's something like it will be revealed to me eventually. You know, but like I said, I know that there is inherently something, I don't want to say wrong, but there is something off about that entire way of doing things. And I'm not saying that to like say that mixed children are, you know, not beautiful. They're some of the most beautiful kids on the planet, but
Yeah.
there's always something behind running away from your own identity. You know, we can
Exactly,
blame it on
right.
beauty. We can say what we want, but you know, there's, just to kind of go into what you were talking about with features, I think that there is some science behind that, because for me, I'm more attracted to more like symmetrical features. A nose that looks a certain way is attracted to me. A jawline that's a certain way looks attracted to me. So it's not necessarily my fault that another race maybe has that feature more than my own.
No, I think it's programmed in us, and it comes down to that Fibonacci sequence of the golden ratio. There's a reason why we are attracted to perfection and symmetry in the physical thing, because it's like you don't want to draw a circle that's not perfect. You want to draw the perfect circle. You want to draw the perfect square, and so there is perfection that exists physically, and so I think we just are attracted to the ones that are more symmetrical.
They did a study years ago. I saw one where they took different celebrities and famous people who are known for their looks versus other people, and they measured the right half of their face against the left half of their face for symmetry to see exactly how similar they were. What they found was that the closer that their faces were to being completely symmetrical, the more beautiful, the more higher ranked that person was among popular culture and among surveys. So there is beauty in symmetry, regardless of color. But the more symmetrical you are, the more beautiful you are. And for men, the more masculine a man looks, the stronger the jaw, the more muscular, the bigger the shoulders. Those are attractive qualities to a woman. And then a woman who has curves and she's not anorexic looking, not obese looking, whatever it might be, there's certain things that, or like they say, like for women, men look at the hip size, like hip to waist ratio, because they say genetically he's looking for a woman who can bear his child.
Peaks and valleys.
So she's got birthing hips.
You guys are crazy, but you're right. It's like you're absolutely right, and that's like I said. Oh gosh, you guys. Like I said, I don't have a definitive answer here. I don't know what it is.
We're just talking about it, and I think that's what we want, is to discover things with conversation. And like you brought up some good points that I didn't think about with the interracial mixed dating stuff. That's true.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically speaking, we all want to say we love the person right away. No, you don't. You're attracted first, and then things follow. But
amen.
Yeah, and there's, like I said, there's a lot more to that. But I did actually have a question for you guys.
Shoot,
yeah.
Since we're talking about this, all right. So. Okay, this is a real question for y'all. Now, when it comes to being alpha or beta, whatever, men in general, if you run into a woman that is highly attractive, but she's displaying to you characteristics of just being trouble, for lack of a better term, would you cut her some slack because she's more attractive?
I think it is very, very likely.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's a thing.
God.
It definitely makes it more difficult.
It doesn't mean it's right. It's not the right thing to do.
I'm not saying it's the right
because
thing.
the guy's going to end up giving up some of that power dynamic because he's letting the looks override the logic.
But that's why there is beauty privilege, is because people who are better looking seem to have the key to the city, because people do treat them differently some way, which is I think it's funny why people choose to say that there's male privilege or female privilege, or the things that are like not the obvious. It's like rich people, attractive people, and
money and power.
Yeah, it's like
like those are the real privileges. If you got
status,
a status, which is beauty or money, wealth, that's privilege.
But here's a question that is interesting. I thought of is, have you ever met a woman who? How do I phrase it? Dang, I remember this question I had earlier, and now I'm trying to figure out how I said it. Is, have you ever met a woman who got with a? No, sorry. Have you ever met a man who got with an ugly woman who was rich? And the man was beautiful. The man is a gorgeous, model-looking man. And he got with an ugly woman who was rich. How often have you seen that?
I haven't seen that, but I will tell you something that I've seen that's an interesting dynamic. when I see a very attractive man with a woman that's average to unattractive, that does make me wonder what's going on there. Like, what exactly happened? Like, does she have a great personality, or does he have maybe mom issues or something? I've been curious about that. I don't know that I've ever seen like a rich woman with, that wasn't so good looking with a really good looking guy. I don't know that I've been exposed to that.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I don't know if I have either, but you know what I have seen is a very unattractive guy who's rich with a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's common.
Heck yeah.
So
see that all the time.
So what is that?
Wait a minute, say that again. I gotta make sure I heard you correctly.
Just the opposite. I haven't seen much of ugly women who are rich with, model good-looking guys, as I have ugly or beautiful women being with a not-so-attractive man that's, I'm not saying it right, that's rich.
Yeah, an ugly rich man with a beautiful wife.
Yeah, that's way more common than the opposite.
Yeah, because I will say this. I think it takes a certain kind of woman to really go the distance with an attractive guy that's not really worth a whole lot. And when I say that, I mean, you guys are right when you say that the more attractive you are, the more you get away with, because there are men that we know are absolute losers, but they have muscles, they have whatever they have, and it just makes you feel like you won something, like you won a prize. So you put up with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as the men go, oh God, y'all, it must be getting late because I'm about to just drop some bombs.
Let it go. Let it rip.
But no, like I've definitely dated unattractive men because they had something, or because I thought, oh, okay, like if we got married, all right, I'd be taken care of. I can deal with his.
Oh, she's a gold digger.
His hard face. I could deal with that.
Right.
Oh my God, why am I saying this now?
It's the
But
truth.
yeah.
It's the truth, though, right? Because a woman will say, well, you know what? He's not the prettiest one in the bunch, but he's got money.
Yeah.
Exactly, because the money is going to take you so much further than his beautiful face.
Yeah,
you
because
know
it
what
comes
I mean?
down
Like,
to, it doesn't come down to love. It comes down to, self-serving somehow. Just like sex, what does, like if I'm hooking up with a girl because she's super hot, but I can't stand hearing her talk or whatever like that. It's because I'm getting something out of it. And how do you end up finding that one that's added to your life that's everything, or it's not just a selfish thing where it's like, what can I do for them because I love them? What's right,
you're so, oh my gosh. But this is the crazy part in my experience, because, if I'm being really honest, and obviously I will be, I haven't dated that much, like, to be quite honest, and without getting too specific, there's one person I can think of in my entire dating life where this person was ridiculously just infatuated. And when I look back, it's like, that was nice, but he wasn't that attractive, and I think the only reason that I hung on so long was because he did look like he was going places, and he was into me. So I thought, well, all right, this is probably the ticket. Thanks, God. I didn't think I'd have to cash out this quick, but we can work this out. This was when I was obviously not awake, Oh my God, you guys, why am I telling you this? This is so crazy.
No, that's cool. That's good. We can talk about who we were. I think people change, and I think, I'm different than I was yesterday, but I also have consistencies that'll never change.
Wait, look at what Dane is saying. I'm looking on the TV. It says, is that 30 years plus a married conversation? I don't know if he's talking about us or what, but yeah, like I said, it's like when you start to think back, you kind of, for me anyway, like I kind of see like, oh crap, that's why I did that. Shoot. That was wrong,
Do you feel that now that you're getting to know yourself and knowing these things about yourself and understanding that, does it put you more at ease now to at least recognize it?
It does. And like I was saying a few minutes ago, it's like the only thing for me that I'm still on the fence about is the fact that I do still find other races attractive. I still don't know what that's about, you know, and I don't want to beat myself up for that because, like I said, I can honestly remember, like, ever since I was a little kid, it's always been that way, you know, and I cannot explain that, you know, and it's something that honestly I'll drive myself crazy if I keep trying to make sense of it, you know. It's just something that it's gonna come to light, you know. It'll be revealed, and maybe God, you know, wants it that way for me. I have no clue, but I would just be remiss to say, okay, well, that's just normal and it's cool. It's like, no, there is something more to it. Fine. But back to the, you know, the rich guy, ugly guy, whatever. At the end of the day, you know, just being honest. Like, as much as we do want alpha men,
You'll take a beta millionaire.
exactly. It's like, because women, regardless of what they say to you, if you're an ugly guy or you're just less attractive, you unfortunately do have to come with something else to the table. You do. And this is not an easy conversation. It's not something that, you know, women want to talk about because women are, quote unquote, supposed to be nice and gentle, and they're not supposed to tell you these things. But that's just something a lot of women think about. They, you know, a smart woman anyway, I think, would have to consider everything. It's not just, is he cute or any of that. Like, to say finances don't come into play, I think women on the whole, not all of them, not all, but most, are being dishonest.
You know what you make me think of the point of, like, you know how, especially in like very liberal like California and places, they are more pushing more socialism and stuff like that. I think that it all leads to that order of life about how a man should be, you know, provide and work and, you know, be the head of his wife and lead the family and stuff like that. I think because men have become so feminized, right, and that the roles are kind of switching around, I think that because, you know, there's still that nature of wanting, you know, a daddy of some sort, and I think that the government is becoming to fill that void, so that these people who want socialism and stuff like that, they want the government to take care of them because they have this longing for the government to take care of them, and that's a feminine kind of thing in the nature, I think, because they want a husband and somebody who will provide that sense of you know, well-being, that they'll be taken care of, and the guys that are that want that kind of stuff, they have that spirit probably from their mom, or because they're weak and they haven't tapped into being able to feel and know that they are able to be powerful in their life, you know, and take care of not only themselves but other people. I don't know, it just made me think of that.
Yeah, like I said, there are a lot of layers to this entire thing. You know, if like I said, I think the issue that we have is that a lot of people aren't being upfront and being transparent about what they really want or what they think they want. All of that in a nutshell, you know what I mean? Because I think when you're younger, you know, early 20s, you really do go for looks. You do, just because that's just a thing young people do. It's like you just want to experience beautiful people and that's it, you know? But the older you start to get, I will say, I think for women it maybe starts around 25, 26-ish, if she really does want to start to settle down. She does start to look at not just your physical attributes. As long as you're not going to break down by 40, we're good, you know? But at the end of the day, it's like, is he really on a path to something? Because it's not just that. It's like, okay, think about it. If you guys, not just you personally, but like if a guy is supposed to be a quote-unquote alpha, what I'm saying shouldn't offend him. You know what I mean? Like, he should know, yes, you do have to be in a certain place financially, because if we are going to get married and have children, you do have to be in a place to be able to take care of your family. I mean,
Right.
is that accurate?
No, I believe so,
Agreed.
but I
100%.
also know that young people, right, in their 20s or whatever, like, if you meet a guy that has drive and that has the willingness to want to, you know, rule the world kind of vibe, like where he's just going to go get her, he doesn't have to have a bunch of money or have anything, but if he has that spirit where you just know he's the kind of person that could, that too. And I think as you get older, and that, you know, it could wear off, or it could, it could pan out differently in his,
Mhm.
you know, I don't know, but I think that there's something about that nature of a guy that has those things, because
Yeah.
as long as he has you know, a willingness to go out and win, you know, chase winning,
Mhm.
he could fail. But if he has that, it's like any movie you watch, the guy that's just wants to win and like and do the right thing. It's like, I think that's, I don't know, it never fails to be that way. And it's like, if you're constantly hitting the pool balls, these balls are going to go in the pockets eventually, and things just kind of fall together the way they should. Like, you know, like I've taken a path with music, and it's a hard road, but I you know, it's like I don't have enough financially.
Like Dane is hating.
I don't have enough financially to provide yet or be a family, you know. But I'm
Yeah.
it doesn't like inhibit me from being able to meet people and find women, you know, that like me. How do I say that in the right way?
I don't know. I lost the train of thought.
I know, like I said, you could go into a rabbit hole with this particular conversation, but the thing is, for me, like, I don't really see the benefit in being dishonest about a conversation like this, because trying to, you know, put up smoke screens and act like we don't all have these thoughts is why we're in the position that we are right now.
Right. No, I
This
agree.
is why we are the way we are as millennials and Gen Z, whatever. This is why we don't have a grasp on what is real, you know, like we really don't get it. So, I mean, we're starting to, I should say that, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, we just don't have the right idea right now, you know, and, again, even I suffer from that. It's like, I really don't know what's right just yet. You know, I'm getting there, absolutely. But, like I said, again, just for men, they have to understand that, you know, just like you guys say, okay, you do want a girl that's attractive and fit and all these other things. On the flip side, the guy does have to realize he has to do other things as well. Okay, if you're
He's
going to
gotta
be
have
fat,
money.
then fine, you need to have money. Okay, that's how it works. If you're going to be poor, you need to be attractive. Like there's always a trade-off, and I know that sounds terrible,
What
but
about?
that is true.
There's the idea of hypergamy, that even if you do have money, what if a bigger fish comes along? Do you think that a woman is going to be tempted to marry up because she can get, you know, maybe she, you know, she dates a guy who has a couple million. Here comes a guy who's got billions.
Mm-hmm.
Is that enough to sway and test that relationship?
It does depend on the woman, because I do think that some girls know when to throw in the towel and say, okay, this is good. Because the thing is, not everybody wants to have a multimillionaire. Some girls just want to know that he's going to make enough money to stay, you know, to where she can stay at home. You know, we'll always have, you know, at least a couple of weeks worth of food in the fridge. He's got a retirement, you know, like, you know, I'm on his insurance. Like, girls, there are some girls that just want to know those things, you know, because the truth of the matter is, you just want to be able to live your life comfortably and be able to raise your children, you know, do the homeschooling and all that kind of stuff. You want to have that structure. Now, the woman that is continuing to climb that ladder, there's already something inherently off about that woman, because she's not understanding that she doesn't need any more than, like, God is going to provide for her, you know, and whatever he provides through her husband, she should be okay with that, you know. If that woman were to do that, I mean, if you kind of look at the people that we kind of know have done that, you know, celebrities, whatever, those people are a little different anyway. They're cut from a different cloth. So
You notice with celebrities though, they never stay together. Like it's almost part of their career to be like, oh, so and so's with so and so now, and then they're divorced. It's like their job is to create roller coasters for people to be entertained by. So it's like they never, you know, they don't experience a real a normal life, and I don't think that's necessarily a good thing.
Yeah. And I mean, when you think about it, I mean, it is kind of like when you're in high school. You wouldn't expect one of the star football guys to date a girl that's in band. You just wouldn't That's not how it works. It's like they're in a different like echelon altogether. They're on a different frequency, you know. And a lot of people don't believe that that's a thing, but it totally is. It's like certain people are just on certain frequencies where this person could be perfect for you, but because they're not at a certain status, they're totally off your radar because you don't understand what's good for you. You just kind of, you know, oh, I'm pretty, I want a cute person, or I'm handsome, so my girl has to be a 9 or a 10. And it's like, okay, but is that really gonna go anywhere? Are you gonna go the distance? Like, I don't understand, you know? So yeah, I think with celebrities, they already have that ego thing going on because, I mean, think about it. What kind of person wants to get paid to tell a lie? A person that has a lot of ego, right? So that person has to be with somebody that is on that same frequency. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't, maybe I'm like projecting here or whatever, or speaking out of turn. I can't see either one of you dating an actress because, like I said, that person essentially is paid to tell a lie on the screen every single day. I don't know that if they're ego driven, if that would work. You know, maybe it could.
We had this talk. We had this talk before, and yeah, we both agree. Like, dating an actress is weird. I've dated girls who did theater and acted in some ways, and they're odd. It's an odd bunch. It makes for an interesting relationship, and it's harder to read the person because they do play so many characters.
Yeah, and I grew up in a family. My dad's a camera operator. He films movies. I grew up going to the set. I always wanted to be an actor as a kid, and I was into being an entertainer, and music was just what I did naturally that I loved. But I always thought that, you know, I wanted to be an actor, and there's certain elements about it that's fun. But I'm learning, like, the more that I'm in LA and the more that I meet actors and stuff, like, they spend their whole life being somebody they're not. And they get put on this pedestal, you know, or they're all knowing, you know, like
Yeah.
actors act like they act like their opinion is so important, you know, especially when they're like, you know, they come into politics and stuff like that, when they don't live normal lives, but they're trying to make decisions to influence normal people. And
Right.
you know, yeah, I think it would be weird to date an actress for sure.
Said someone said in the chat. Duncan said you could have been the next Corey.
Oh God. But I could see Trev being like one of those kids in the '90s movies. Like, I could totally see that.
Yeah, without the Charlie Sheen.
Oh
Yeah.
God, you guys. But yeah, like, I mean, anyway, and again, it's different. I think for us, because we do actually see a different part of that side of things. Because, you know, I can say, like, even though I don't hang out with famous people, it's like here in Hollywood, yeah, you can go get coffee and see somebody famous, and you're just like, okay, that's weird. And, you know, sometimes when you see a famous person, it's almost like they want you to recognize who they are. But when you act like you don't know who they are, or you just kind of walk past them, you can kind of see a little like change in their like their aura. It's like it kind of hits them like, oh shit, I'm not
Yeah.
the center of attention right now.
It's like
You know,
they need that gas, their tank to be filled all the time. I remember the story
Yeah.
when I lived in Orange County. There was like this Rite Aid, and I always heard this story of Chevy Chase came into that Rite Aid one day and walked in, and nobody said anything to him, and he turned around on his way out and says, "I know you all know who I am. Stop acting like you don't." And then he turned around and left.
Dude, it's so bizarre.
That's an
And that
ego.
just lets you know, like, that's the little thing that I think your average person doesn't see, that some of us get to see because of where we live. It's like, no, these are regular people, but they just have bigger egos than we do. And it's like, it really does bother some of them when you don't, you know, address them. But, you know, that's a whole other thing. I mean, we all maybe have that a little bit, or had it at some point.
Yeah, no,
but-
I know for sure, but people in entertainment, and I want to be careful about it too, because that's what I do. But like musicians, especially, I notice they put on an act, and I can so see it so much clearer now that you know, it's like I'm not judging them for it. I'm not like, you know, feeling any kind of way like about them, but I can sense and see that they are trying to come off some kind of way. You know, like that they They want you to think of them in whatever light they're presenting themselves as. And I'm just starting to gravitate towards, appreciating people who are able to just be themselves and that don't have anger. And it's really simple.
Dang, you know what? I just realized, weren't we supposed to disagree about something?
I disagree about your life.
Yeah.
Dude, I tried. I'm sorry. It's just we go into a flow. I'm sorry, guys. I meant to disagree. I totally did. But,
Well, we
it
just
is
gotta
what it
we
is.
just gotta bring we just want to find other opinionated people who got.
Yeah,
strong
we were
opinions.
saying, because when she came on, we're like, man, can't I have people that are just talking and agreeing about everything all the time. You gotta have that controversy. That's why bros and cons, man. We gotta have the controversy of being able to have different opinions to be like, no, I disagree. But it seems like we're always agreeing.
Yeah, we want to hear other people who think they're right.
But that's cool because you know how I see it? We're kind of building a little like a squad, right? We got people that are here that are all like, rooting for each other and building that. And as it can grow, people will come on and if word gets out and people are like, oh, did you hear about that? And then they're like, they can call in. Oh, and then they call in and then they get mad or whatever it is that they disagree with. And we'll have a nice little support system by that point.
Yeah. And I'll be real. Like, I don't run out of questions. Y'all know I'm nosy as hell. So listen.
Right.
I'll always have questions for you guys, like, anytime. But yeah, this was interesting. Like I said, I for me, I'm at the point now. I just don't feel like it's beneficial for any of us to lie about like who we are or the beliefs that we have anymore, because it's like, dude, at some point we got to just be real and let the chips fall where they may. If people disappear, cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you weren't supposed to be here anyway, because it's so exhausting to just not be genuine. It's so hard.
Exactly. Just be who you are, even if in 5 years you don't think the same way.
Yeah.
Just hold your ground. And if someone gets mad at you for holding your ground, then good riddance.
And I'm learning that the more these things kind of happen, the more I realize that at the end of the day, I was only mad at myself.